He's all ready. Talk to him.
So you want me to stay here, Michelle, give it a whirl?
Yeah.
Okay, if I see it, I'll come in and let you know.
Was that? I started all of it too.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So sorry. Thank you.
And then the next day.
That was rough one. Don't get over it.
No, you don't.
I can tell you that.
That's why I'm like worried about the dog, because nobody seems to understand, like, it's my escape route, so.
But yeah, so, like,
There's
yes.
many people that.
Right.
And I'm like, well, no, it's just gonna be the family party.
All right.
I do not mind.
I'm glad to say that.
Let's just not fill this on, so. You know, if,
Please, everyone.
you think, oh, you want to do it that way?
That's the card for Hannah.
The one that's turning 100.
Yes,
This is her the giant birthday card, so.
Hi, how are you? You should sign it. Have you signed it yet?
yes,
There's a space for you right here.
Hannah Marcus.
Why can't I, what is?
Here, I got it.
Sorry, I just.
That's okay, I'll get it here. Oh,
I know, so it's
It's ancient.
Yes, it's a birthday card. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah, that's very, but now.
Yes.
Hi. When we.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
He's
Looks beautiful.
I straightened it out, I straightened it out. Listen, you know, Matt, you might want to listen to, we parked the car right across the street. As soon as I opened up the door, there's an electric plate right there, and there's a big hole. Somebody steps on that, they'll break their ankle, or they'll really be.
What, like a divot in the sidewalk?
Directly across the street.
What stores you play? Like Butter Biscuit?
No, it's close to the new coffee shop. I saw the
The
coffee,
new coffee shop?
yes. And it's an electric box, it's a square electric box, and there's an empty hole. A huge hole.
It may be from one of the ones that's out.
I don't know, but I don't want to have the whole.
Thanks, Sally.
I have seen that you're exhibiting in the house. I'm so happy. Oh, well, I've got this whole volunteer list of people who came forward to Arts Council and then Arts Council, I'm saying.
I'm so
And you know.
Thank you. So do you.
But I will go into. But I'm so happy that you're gonna have some space gorgeous.
CFO today.
I've gone back and forth all day, yeah.
You know she was here, right?
Oh, the CFO? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, yeah, I wasn't too much in it. I spoke to her, so.
Pretty good. I like that. Well, how long she's been around?
Well, yeah, she's filling in for the other one.
Give it back to Aaron. John is taking issue.
Yeah.
No, don't take it that way, please. If I don't get it done early, then I'm
That guy hangs out.
I'm not happy, that's not it. Get it, doesn't help with it. I'm telling you to get, come on, get going.
Thank you. Thank you. John. John.
Yes. Yeah. 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 You can go. No. Can you hold on for the three? Yeah.
But it's been.
No, it gave us this is the IP personal.
You guys go.
No.
Right, exactly.
Anyway.
Insurance fund.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I read everything. Yeah. Starting with just, that's what. Yeah. Like down there.
That's here.
That's awesome. I went to this.
Yeah.
I had a good time. Surfing and
I'm going to call this meeting to order. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I wish to announce that the 48-hour notice is required under the Open Public Meetings Act was emailed to the Asbury Park Press, the Co-Star, and the New Co-Star on December the 19th of 2024. That a copy has been placed on the bulletin board in the borough office and that a copy has been filed with the municipal clerk. As a courtesy to the public, this meeting may be attended via Zoom. If for any reason the Zoom portion of this meeting fails or is disconnected, the in-person meeting will continue without interruption and action can and will be taken, providing that there is an in-person quorum. Ms. DeNoble? Here. Ms. Greenblatt? Here. Mr. Nowicki?
Excuse.
Excused? Yes. Mr. Weber?
here.
Mayor Kubatozzi?
Here. Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. We are going to start the evening with item number 5, a workshop. We actually have 2 workshops. I have an old version of the agenda, I just realized. But we have two workshops this evening. We'll start with the sewer pump station with CME, presenting Mr. Matlack, and we'll follow this with a second workshop.
Sure. Give me 1 second.
I need to say good evening. Good to see you. I think I can just go run and get it. Oh, yeah, I can get you a copy now. I'll get it.
Okay, thank you, Mayor and Council, for having me. We're here today to talk about the asset activation planning grant that the borough received. This is for 54 Ocean Avenue, also known as the old pump station and pump house, located on Promenade, in between Park Place Avenue and Ocean Park Avenue. Just as a refresher for everybody, we've talked about this a few times in previous meetings, but the borough received a $50,000 grant to be used for planning and design purposes, for the reuse of an unused asset. So this is a building, it's an asset of the borough, it's underutilized, so the purpose is to repurpose this building to something functional. Currently, I'm sure you all recognize this. It's the temporary restroom building that is, or trailer that's located next to this building. It's up during the summer months. So that's the current condition of what the use of this location is. So the borough has decided that it's in their best interest to try to eliminate the use of the temporary trailer. If we can get restrooms in the building, that'll alleviate the need for that. I met with the borough administrator, the mayor, public works director, as well as our architect who's here today, to answer any questions if needed. We did a site visit inside the building. We looked at the existing conditions. We looked at a couple potential layouts of how we could reutilize the space. And we came up with one option, which I'll show you in a second. The other layouts that we didn't go with had less stalls and urinals for restroom, for men's and women's than what we could have fit, had a smaller concession area. So we put some thought into a couple different layouts, but ultimately we agreed that this one that I'm going to show you right now is the best one. So as you can see, to orient yourself, the promenade is on the right side, Ocean Avenue would be on the left. You have two restroom buildings, a men's and a women's. There are 2 stalls and 2 urinals with 2 sinks in the men's room. 4 stalls, 2 sinks in the women's room. Both restrooms have a baby changing station. Then you have a couple of storage closets, and then along the promenade is your concession area. There's the concession area. It's intended that there's not going to be any cooking time at the concession area. That would require a grease trap, exhaust fans, different health department requirements. The intent here is to have it as more of a snack stand, bottled water, things like that. Maybe sunglasses. You could sell out of there. It will have a 3-compartment sink, which is per building code. And then I'll show you a quick rendering of what the outside would look like. So you've got the view from Ocean Avenue. The facade of the building is intended to match other buildings that are in town. Because of the slope from the sidewalk up to the promenade and having to have a level surface for all the doors, we may need a railing there. If we do, it'll be the intent to match the railing that's on the promenade. So what you can see here is the right side entrance to the restroom building, the restrooms in the building. And on the back side is the promenade, which has the concession stand. And I'll show you what that looks like. So that's where the concession area would be. Makes sense, it's on the promenade side. Everything would be ADA compliant. to be able to get to the concession area or the restrooms. And even on a murky, cloudy, rainy day, we've got some dedicated beachgoers there.
I'm sorry, could you please repeat what you just said?
I said, even on a cloudy, murky day, you have dedicated beachgoers.
Oh, I got it.
So that is basically it. This rendering here is just to give you a general idea of what it looks like. And it's maybe not necessarily to scale, but it's pretty close, and it's just superimposed on the existing area. And any questions?
Go ahead, Mr. Weber.
Thank you, Ben. So it looks like there's a lot of leveling out, because when you approach this from Ocean Ave. I don't know if it's like just a bay, it almost seems like it's two-story building, but it can't be two full stories. So what is the, I don't know if you can go back that slide that shows that. The backside, it's not two stories, but it's sort of, oh, it's enough to pull up like a back up a truck. That's
Yeah.
kind of what that was meant for, that, I guess.
Yeah, so this building was like I said, it was an old pump station.
Right.
And that was a bay, like exactly to back a truck into, unload equipment or load equipment. And that's not in use anymore. We'll likely, we will cover that up, and you won't see the bay there.
So there's really only like crawl space amount of level below the floor, the current floor, or crawl space, or like not even half a story,
Yeah.
2 steps.
It doesn't have a crawl space or anything. It has some storage tanks underneath the building and things like that.
Okay, so you just level it out.
Yeah, and it would be leveled out. We would probably maintain that same elevation.
Okay.
So it would still look like that. We wouldn't raise the building or lower the building or anything like that. But you would see the door on the right side, that would kind of be the new elevation all the way across. So all the doors would match, and I'll go back to the other slide to show you what I'm talking about.
Presumably the,
So you have a level area here, where all the doors are the same elevation, and it slopes down, towards the side.
presumably the chimney would stay, because there's hot water and there's something to make it hot.
It may stay, we haven't gotten to the nitty gritty of the design yet. We're not showing it right here. I don't know that we necessarily need it. So we probably, if we do need it, it'll stay, but likely we will.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so is that to scale, the current image we're looking at? Because it looks like the pathway that, with the railing around it it's not quite wide enough for the turning radius of, say, a wheelchair.
Yeah, it's not perfectly to scale.
Okay.
But it would be meet all codes and ADA requirements so that you could enter and exit the building with a wheelchair.
So, you are staying within the footprint that is already existing there, correct? So you're not expanding or multiplying the building, which is a good thing. How about lighting for night? What were your ideas?
Good
with that?
question. Yeah, so we probably would have some building mounted lighting just for like security purposes, over the doorways, but they would be, not floodlights, they would just be kind of downward pointing, lights, just to illuminate the doorway.
Okay, that's what I wanted to make sure, that it wasn't going to be in the residents' eyes and all that.
Correct.
Okay.
And there would not be any flashing lights or anything like that.
Good.
Just the security.
Okay, and it looks great. I mean, we've come a long way, and I love the simplicity, and I love bathrooms by the playground, so bravo. I just want to know now, when is this gonna happen?
A couple more quick questions, or actually one observation. What I also enjoy about this view is we no longer have the bathroom trailer here. So
Yeah.
we're replacing that with hopefully a very legitimate functioning building. Ben, you mentioned to me, what is the position now on heating and air conditioning of the building?
The intention was not to heat or air condition the building. It's seasonal. if the borough wanted, we could heat it, so it could be used year round. Air conditioning would not be the intent.
And again, just my reaction, we'll let the public weigh in, we'll let the council weigh in, but I'd be inclined to consider heating, so we could have a year-round access for, beachgoers in the off-season.
Are the other bathrooms heated?
Yeah, well, the ones by Lorraine are open year round and they put heat in that so we can have one,
Okay,
and it's literally only a few blocks away, so. If you want to have two bathrooms open year
Right.
round, they're a few blocks away
Well,
from each
maybe-
other,
yeah,
but, we got it covered with one if you. if
this
that's
is true,
enough.
that's a good point.
We
Is,
should actually talk to like maintenance people and see, is it super heavily used? Does it seem like it's okay?
It's
Just find
better.
that out.
Okay,
We have some time to decide, I imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, what broad time frame, and then we'll turn this over to the public. But broad time frame for us to approve a design and then, begin a process to actually evaluate opportunities to select the bidders to find out what this would cost. What's a broad time frame?
So, if we have an agreement that this is, the direction we want to go, we'll advance the design, to get a complete, building design. There's still a couple things we just have to investigate, such as the underground tanks and, we did not include, permitting in this phase. But because there's no building expansion, DEP permitting may not be required. So we're gonna verify that and ensure that we don't need any permits before we move to the next step. But ultimately, the goal right now is to make sure that we are able to utilize the grant for design and planning. And that's what we're doing. Once that phase is done, basically we have a set of plans that is ready to go into the final design and bid phase. And then we have to have construction down funding. So we don't have an exact cost estimate yet. We're still working through that. But we're in a range of probably around $400,000.
You mentioned DEP permitting, CAFRA permitting as well, any need to go through that process?
Yeah, that would be the one that I would think we'd have to make sure we investigate. I don't think we need to do CAFRA permitting, but we haven't thoroughly vetted that out, so I won't say it's definite we don't have.
The other thing, and you just referenced it moments ago, the tanks underground. We're not talking about like oil tanks, we're talking about sewage container tanks.
Yeah,
of
they're
sorts.
like holding tanks for the pump station use.
And at this point, has anyone been down there to see what we've got, what we've inherited?
Not yet, but they have not been in use for several years, so it's. I can't answer exactly what's down there, so we're gonna investigate that.
There's no anticipated use for that space. We probably fill it in at some
Yes.
point. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah,
So we got this grant to study underutilized buildings, but now that we have a plan, wouldn't we go back to the state and try and get the grant? If you say it's gonna cost $400,000 to convert this, wouldn't we go back to the state for that?
if there's a grant program available that would fund something like this, yes.
I mean, I'm sure they don't have, well, I'm not sure of anything, but I would think they don't have this. Here, we'll give you $50,000 to come up with ideas for underutilized building and then not direct you to some other state grant
Yeah,
to actually do it.
that's part of what our process is, to look for additional funding sources. We'll certainly reach out to this funding source, the NJEDA, and ask that question. What is the next step? How can the borough also get additional grant funding for the implementation of this plan?
this would be paid out of the beach fund, not taxpayer money, correct?
Unless we get a grant.
Unless we get a grant, there you go. Okay. that's
So Ben, thank you for staying within the footprint. We went through this a few years ago. I'm sure some of our residents remember. There was at least an exploration of having a restaurant that would have had more lighting, probably had more activity, had a second floor at one point. This is, I think, much more what most of us envisioned. Better leveraging existing property without expanding and creating challenges for our residents. So I think this is a great starting point, and I want to give the public a chance to weigh in. Normally, we are built, our agendas are built to ask for public comment after we get through all of the presentations, but I'd like to take a chance while you've got all your slides up to give the public that chance. So I'll open it up to public comment.
Sure.
Yes, Rick,
Do I have to come up?
please, and state your name and address.
To the side, we went back to the center.
Somebody put it there.
Okay.
I did.
Rick Bartolome, 116 Newark Avenue. Just a quick question. If the storage tanks have to be removed, then do you have to demo the entire building, or how does that work in the sequence?
That's to be determined. We haven't, figured that out yet.
Okay, so there's a possibility you might have to demo the whole building?
No, not necessarily. They likely would fill it in.
Okay, just
Linda,
Questions for Ben, basically.
Yes.
Linda Duffy, 312 Brinley. Is there any possibility, I don't want you to change the plans too much, but because the park is there, to have a family bathroom put on the park side and make the other two bathrooms smaller for the male and female, only because I have been to that park with toddlers and it was hard getting out of the park to get to the trailer to use the facility with a little child. I don't know if that's possible.
So we did look into that. One of the issues is that by putting a door on the other side, that has to, essentially you would be moving that area that you see there with the railings to the other side.
No, there,
And
it's not higher, it's at ground level on the other side.
correct, but you still need you can't have it be mulch. It has to be ADA accessible. So you need like a sidewalk area. And that encroaches onto the park. And you have the swings that are right there. They would have to be relocated because you need the certain fall zones surrounding the swing equipment. And it would result in, additional work. And we didn't investigate whether or not there's enough space to move the swings. But that's another additional cost, and we decided we didn't want to take space away from the park.
So even if they added another walkway that entered from here out to get to here, that would be ADA, because the park's not ADA, because of the mulch, correct? It's just a thought, because it's hard for parents to do that, and grandparents especially. to get to the bathroom.
Nancy, madam.
Nancy Meadow, Ocean Park condominiums. Since 1988, I've requested a bathroom for the playground. Me, who has no children. The fact that you think a parent with a young child that is in desperate need to use the bathroom has the wherewithal to walk all the way around the building is just us missing the mark again. If your goal is just to have another beach bathroom, okay. But I really thought we were going to accommodate the little ones with people trying to scoop them up and get them to the bathroom. In addition, I really thought we would change the address because we know we're at the 900 block. And, in this day and age, I don't understand it. I'm not sure, but I don't know that we're required to have unisex bathrooms. And they're not unisex anyways, especially when little children are involved. And I'd really like to know who the we is, because we decided to do this, we decided this is better. Who's the we? Thank you.
So, thank you, but don't leave yet, because you're somewhat prompting a question and a response. We are us presenting to the public and soliciting feedback. This is not a decision that has already been made.
Who's the us?
I'm sorry, who's the us?
Who's the us?
governing body of the
Okay.
council.
So
City.
you all were in on the design, okay?
No, we weren't, this is the
Oh.
first time we're seeing this.
Okay,
It's a workshop.
but he,
This is the first time for everybody to see it. It's
Sandy
not-
was saying, we decided, I'm
Just
just asking, who's the
No,
we?
okay, to be very, very specific, Matt Doherty, myself, and Biagio Cafone
Great,
met the engineer and they laid out a couple of options. We, three of us, thought this, of the three, this looked the most feasible. We did discuss entrances off the playground. The concerns we had, one was taking away space, ADA compliant space. The other thing was, we don't want it to we, the three of us, didn't want it to just be a playground bathroom, nor did we want it to just be a beach bathroom. Our initial thinking was, if we're going to narrow the scope, to ask Mr. Malik to present to the public to get this feedback, let's pick the one that we thought would be the most practical. This taking away no space from the playground. Again, three older gentlemen who were not thinking about young families thought would not be a problem to have doors simply around the corner. So we're taking in this feedback and we will certainly reconsider, but it was as simple as, let's get something in front of the public to react on.
okay, I know who we are, now. Thank you.
Okay,
It's fine.
Eileen,
Yes. Well, it doesn't better. People that are like. Okay.
I love this idea, but I do feel as though if you're gonna do it. You know, I really think a family bathroom on it by the playground would be beneficial. I just, and I just think that if you have two, I just think it would be the total package. I love everything, but if it's possible to get that, just a family bathroom, so they can go in and out and be in the playground, it would be beneficial. And there must be some way you can reconfigure the playground, and I don't think it's that expensive to move a swing set. I mean, I think that's all feasible.
I guess to make sure we're all clear. The concern was we didn't want to channel all of the boardwalk pedestrians through the playground.
No.
But you're saying have a separate family bathroom on one side and two bathrooms on the other
Yes.
side.
Yes,
Two
just so
ramps
if
and
the
two
parents are in the bath, and then the children, a parent or a child can run into that family bathroom. And then be in the playground still, and then you wouldn't have to worry about a gate or going around. I don't like the gate on the side of the road, because if that gate is not closed properly, a child could easily wander out there. You follow what I'm saying?
No, no.
If you put a gate here, so a family member has to walk all the way around here.
No, they would walk around on the boardwalk.
The same way they walk out now.
Okay,
Yes. that's-
okay, I thought somebody was suggesting to put a gate here so they can
No.
walk around this way.
Or put the bathroom where the concession stand is.
Yeah, a gate wouldn't work on that side because you have a retaining wall.
Oh, no, I
Drops
just
down.
think a gate by a street is very dangerous for children. But I just think if you just put a family bathroom on this side of the playground, somewhere where you can connect all the piping, doesn't have to be real big, but just a family bathroom, like you see at, well, the Atlantic Club, they have a family changing rooms or family bathrooms. And it's just simple. It doesn't have to be real fancy, but it's just accommodating children in the bathroom.
So we take away from, it would have to take space from the existing bathrooms, I would imagine.
Yeah, each bathroom would be half as big if we did that.
Okay. But
The bathrooms would be half as big and we would have to take space away from the playground.
And build another ramp and railing at additional cost on that side.
No, we're just
This
saying
is
these are the
reality.
challenges we have faced.
I understand, but I'm just thinking of little kids in that playground. And then having to drop everything and run all around. It would just, since you're doing it, I just think it's 6 of one and a half
Yeah.
dozen
Can
of
I
the other.
ask one other question, just to make sure I understand it? Can I just, if you're done, Eileen, I'm sorry. Okay, Dan, just to make sure I understand this, right now, if someone were in the playground and they needed to use the bathroom, they would have to walk to the I mean, and it was the summer and that mobile bathroom was there and they have to walk, it's between the building and that lamppost on the boardwalk. That's where they would have to walk to now, right?
Yes.
So that doesn't seem like it's any further to walk into the building from there. That's the same distance. And before COVID, before we had that temporary bathroom, right, we didn't have a bathroom there before. Okay, so where would people, if they're on the playground, they had to go to the bathroom then before we put the temporary bathroom there, where would they have to walk to? They would have to walk all the way down to the, well, either, I don't know which is closer, the Lorraine Avenue ones or the ones by the Fifth Avenue parking lot. Okay. So it's an incredible improvement in the amount of walking that people have to do compared to a few years ago, and it's pretty much the same compared to what they would have to do now. Is that, I'm just making sure I have that right. Okay,
Yes.
okay, got it. Thank you.
Ben, a related question,
A lot of time in the bathroom. I mean, you have reason why you're there, you go in and out. So if it's a smaller bathroom,
we're not,
I understand.
we're not debating you. I mean, I think more than one person has said they'd like a family, easy access bathroom. And the decision we initially discussed with Mr. Malek and his team, his architect, was doors on this side of the building or doors on that side of the building, north or south. We just didn't have a discussion about potentially a family bathroom on one side and non-family on the other. We were trying to minimize the disruption to the playground. That being the space, the ramps that would be needed, the flat ground that would be needed, as well as the concerns we had about people, just everybody walking through the playground, adults to get to bathrooms, bathrooms on that side. You guys, for the first time, have suggested doors on both sides.
Is the concessions in the front. If you're leaving the I'm sorry, I'm done with this thought, and this is just another thought. If you're leaving the playground, which is not closed on, you haven't been like with kids up there in a long
I
time.
walk it every day. I know exactly how far it is.
I know, but you haven't run out with little kids. The gates that not close to the swings, it's kind of in the middle. You have to open the gate, which is never functioning correctly, run all the way down, and you go to the external bathrooms that we have now. It's an issue. If we put the bathroom doors to the front, that's better, only because you're not running through people in a concession line. You'd have to run around, not run, or walk gingerly with your child around the people that are in line, which are in your way, to get to the bathroom entrance. So if the concession's on the side that we have the doors, so be it. I mean, it's a concession. We really didn't want the concession after the last workshop that we had. People didn't really care about it. So that's a thought. I'm sorry.
And you can take just a few feet off of the playground. I do not think the swings were part of the $108,000 renovation. Take a few feet off the playground and put the doors on the other side.
All right, there's a hand raised in the back. Two hands raised in the back.
Yeah, just a suggestion, Paul Nishakin, 411.5 Lorraine. Obviously, you could cut out space from the men's room, to put in, half of that area being the family room with an entrance from the other side. The minute you put an entrance on the park, playground side, you would open up the possibility of getting Green Acres funding. Because it would be an improvement to a Green Acres funded playground. Just a thought.
It's a very good thought. Leahy in the back.
Hi, Victoria Lee, 119 Park Place Avenue. I guess I'm gonna say first off, before we go any further, why don't we see if we need CAFR approval before we start putting the cart from the horse? Because that would be another expense for CAFR, because you're so close to the ocean. So before we get too far into it, why don't we see if that's a possibility and what you need to do for money and assets? The other thing is, the last time this was a topic of conversation, you heard quite a few people who spoke who live in that area about not wanting a concession. So by you putting in a concession, a grill, a sink, a this and that, you heard the voice of the opinion who live in that area. That's what we don't want. More importantly, you could put a vending machine next to it if you're just on the water. So stick a vending machine in front of it, just like the golf course. And lastly, if you're gonna go through the purpose of building bathrooms, next to a playground, you should definitely have a family bathroom. It doesn't make any sense not to have a family bathroom. How inconsiderate is that? You're inviting people to come to the park with their small children, they need a family bathroom. So if you're gonna do it, just be logical about it. But again, I'm gonna just refresh everyone's memory that when everyone spoke about this before, you had a big opposition against the concession. And I don't mean the restaurant, I mean, last time this was proposed recently, last few months. So just asking that is kind of brought back to surface. Bathrooms, sure, but there's enough jammed on the north end of town by us. We have the parks, we have volleyball pits, we have the summer concerts, we jam a lot of stuff by us. So just take that in consideration, and the trash, the debris, the noise, and all that comes into it. If you're gonna put a concession stand there,
Okay,
it's my thought.
So,
Go ahead.
just one, I mean, I remember the opposition to the restaurant, people didn't want cooking. And when we asked them, would it be okay if it was just like an ice cream stand or concession stand? My recollection, I know it was years ago, is people thought that was okay.
No,
And when we,
that's
and then
what
just
we
please,
talked
if I
about.
can finish, so, and then also people, I guess we get a lot of complaints about, well, there's nothing for the north end, there's no concession on the north end, there's no amenities on the north end, so we're actually trying to do that. Because we hear the opposite, you know, we may not have a boardwalk, you know, the, whatever the trailer, you know, this summer, we're actually just getting the, bid out now, so that could happen again, so we hear that, I hear both, so.
Okay, but if you live close enough, you can pack yourself a peanut butter and jelly and pack your water and your life is good. I mean, you should care about the residents, not your community, not the tourism that you're jamming down our roads. You should care about the people who live there and the people who are gonna see it, smell it, and the debris and trash that goes with it. But I think if you're gonna go through the effort of revamping this for a bathroom, you have to have a family bathroom, especially that you're next to a park. Also, the Adirondack chairs, for the record, old people can't get in and out of the Adirondack chairs very easily. Like a regular bench would be nicer to get in and out of, just saying. Logically, if you ever try to sit your bum in the chairs, old people, they get their ass stuck in it, just saying.
thank you. Yes, sir.
Bob West, 518 North Avenue. This is to the council, where the consideration or thought of a concession stand, is that going to be in our employees, or is that going to be to seek out a lease person to rent it? So that's a question nobody's ever talked about, you know, if it's gonna be a concession stand, who's gonna be in it?
We would bid it out just like every
Okay,
other
like-
concession on the boardwalk.
Second. Concern to sort of, well, you said the ice cream, Lily Lou's ice cream. At the top end, who is my understanding has a 3-year lease, a pretty expensive lease. And the borough doesn't necessarily owe that business any. Privileges or not, but to put a concession stand or a competition to them. Is that? Say fair or not fair, but, like I said, if I understood it correctly, they're paying in upwards of $30,000 a year to have that ice cream trailer there on a 3-year lease now.
Mr. Kenna, do you want to address that?
Yeah, they terminated it this year, so they left it back.
They won't.
Okay.
Their choice, correct?
Yeah, they voluntarily left. you know.
Not our choice, their choice. So we have the deficit to make up.
I frankly think candidly, they overbid.
Yeah, well, because they couldn't make that money. That's what that was part of my.
And they
concern.
won,
If
but.
they put it there,
A lot of money.
yeah, you spend a lot of money and then bang, oh, all of a sudden we're gonna competition right down the road. So,
But I mean, you also, this wouldn't be done for probably
For years,
Yeah.
Just a thought. Everybody's talking about bathroom, nobody's talking about the actual operation of a concession stand and the viability of a concession stand being there. That's all.
I mean, I can tell you that the focus from so I've been here for a while, other people, I mean, is really there's concessions that people like, that think are great, and we just try to keep them here at all costs, and then the money we can get, try different things out, but you've seen there's a lot of stable ones, and your governing body does the yeoman's work to keep them here.
Because it was nice to get the ice cream stand there. Because it was absent, anything was absent for about a year or two. And they finally came and that was good. I thought,
Yeah, I mean, without getting into the private details of people's business, like Matt tried very hard, I tried very hard to work with them to try to figure it out. It just didn't work out, unfortunately. But they're also not crossed off our list. In the future, we maybe can figure it out, but we left it open with them, but they didn't want to go back.
all right, thank you.
Mr. Quinn.
Thomas Cohen, 612 Third Avenue. Mr. Malak, this is an amazing plan. And I only wish we had it a couple of years ago because it's a great place to start. In terms of, I know you haven't done the mechanical layout yet, but since we're cutting up the building and taking space away for this family bathroom, I don't see a mechanical room for the hot water heaters. Would that eat up even more space?
We would explore a tankless water heater that doesn't take up much space. And it can be put probably above the ceiling in a wall here.
Okay, and then are you envisioning this building to be all electric or would it have gas service for the hot water heaters? All electric, okay. And then are you envisioning it to be two services, one for the concession and a separate service for the bathrooms to separate utility bills?
No,
No, it'd be just one service. Okay.
most likely, yes.
Okay, and then, just for council's notes, I like the building, I think, this is like 85% of what I thought we were gonna get 2 years ago. But I would love this back area here where the stroller is and behind the building, to be dedicated for bicycle racks. Because that way it's out of the way, the park's right here, we keep more bikes from being, chained to the railing at the beach, so. That would be my only note, but this is very helpful to get it out to the public. Thank you.
Ms. Kepler.
That's Kepler 504 Central. I really don't have an opinion. I think it looks great, either way, but just as a suggestion to maybe, I don't know what the inside looks like or how the bathrooms are laid out, if it's individual use bathrooms or if it's stalls, but perhaps instead of building a whole and fashioning a whole new bathroom, put doors, entry doors to the existing bathrooms that are there on both sides so that you can get in and out from either this side, and then you wouldn't have to worry about being ADA compliant because you'd already have met that obligation on this side. And then you'd have access on the other side, and it would just be doors from both sides, but I don't know what's on the opposing wall.
There's like,
inside.
Mr. Malik, you could probably briefly describe what the bathrooms look like today.
Don't put two doors in the family bathroom.
Today,
Flowers right there.
today the bathrooms are not usable at all. There are not even toilets. They're broken toilets that have been destroyed and they're scattered all over the floor. So the building right now is not usable.
And there's a loading area inside the building too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not configured today the way you've drafted it for tomorrow.
Correct.
So it's a little misleading. You might think there are existing bathrooms that we're refurbishing, but they
Maybe
really.
whatever his existing plan is that he has planned, I don't know if it's a single use or multiple stalls. But if it's a multiple stall bathroom, it would make sense that there could possibly be.
And you said there's changing tables in each side, right?
Yes.
Does that make it a family bathroom or just makes it a bathroom with a changing table?
I don't know that, I know the definition of a family bathroom, but it is, yeah, there would be a baby changing station for in both men's and women's rooms.
Okay.
And they would be, the fold down style.
Okay, are there questions on,
I don't know.
Zoom? Is there a way to shrink this so we can see if there are hands raised on Zoom?
Did you just call on me, Mia Mullen?
Couldn't see you, but
We have to see your hand first.
if your hand is raised, then you can speak now, please.
Okay, Mia Mullen, 302 Fourth Avenue. My question is, has a water fountain been considered? Will there be a water fountain with the building?
Yeah, there is a water fountain existing on the promenade side.
Mia, did you hear that?
Yeah, I did. I just wanted to make sure that that was considered. But then this point that came up with the changing stations, if you do the family bathroom, if it's feasible financially to do that, because I understand it needs a whole nother ramp to make it ADA compliant. People have to understand what the finances are, and it probably is worth spending the money, given the arguments that were made tonight for having a family bathroom. So if you did that, then you could save space by taking away the changing stations in the man's and the woman's bathrooms and just have a changing station in the family bathroom, just another way to reconfigure it. Do you have to have changing stations in every bathroom? If you have a family bathroom, just a thought, to save space.
You do need the changing stations in both bathrooms, or in all.
So Ben, it sounds like a takeaway would be to have you and the architect evaluate, is it practical? Could we fit in and when we say a family bathroom, are we talking about a single toilet, a single sink? Are we talking about stalls?
I'm assuming that it's a single toilet that's large enough for a changing table and
Sink.
a sink.
Before my time is cut, just really important, because some people are going to be happy with one decision and some people will be unhappy with another decision, to present the finances of, well, here's how much more it's going to cost and here's what we have as far as the grants, so people understand why a decision is made. Of course, we all want pie in the sky, but someone's got to pay for it. So, and not all the money is going to come through a grant. We don't know. So that's really important before a decision is made, so no one feels as if a decision was made and they're mad, but they don't understand why that decision was made.
Thank you, Ms.
Mhm.
Muller.
All right, thank you. I think it's great. Thank you.
Okay, so good feedback. This again was, is there another hand?
Nope.
Yeah, it says Eva raised her hand.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Eva, are you raising your hand?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
yes.
So I've been coming to Bradley Beach since I'm 10 years old, and before the playground, there were kiddie rides and there were never bathrooms. I have no issue with a family bathroom or changing area, but I raised two little boys, and when they had to use the bathroom, I took their hands and I walked them to wherever the bathroom was, which was either, I think, Cliff or Lorraine. At the end of the day, the larger percentage of children are going to be coming off the beach. The playground is utilized during the day for an hour and a half. People go in and out. But the largest percentage of people are coming off of Park Place, off of Ocean Park, walking the boardwalk. The larger bathrooms, I believe, should be for the larger volume of people. You know, you maybe will see 20 people in the playground, but you're going to see 1,000 people on the beach. And we have not had bathrooms there ever in my recollection. So if you're going to build bathrooms, you want to build them so that the adults can bring their children off the beach, so that adults can use it. You know, it needs to make sense. That's what I have to say about it.
Okay, thank you for your comment.
Real
Eva,
quick,
can you please state your name and address?
Yes, Eva Silbert, 216 Park Place.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is it a possibility also to consider moving the entrance to the playground so it's closer to the building? So it's less of a walk? I mean, I don't know.
And
you know.
everyone's gotta go through the playground to go to the bathroom.
No. I'm just saying move the entrance to the playground. It's a gate.
Oh,
So that's all.
Yeah, I think we've gotten enough feedback for tonight to get Ben and architects. And by the year 2032, we should have. I'm
Okay,
sorry, Eileen, I can't hear you. But we're good for tonight.
okay.
The goal tonight was not to tell you what the bathroom is. It was to get your feedback. Thank you for your feedback. And we'll have another session. There's no rush on this. We're trying to expedite a good thing for the borough, but we're not gonna expedite it over your concerns. So we'll evaluate what we can do regarding a family bathroom, what we can do about ADA compliance without diminishing the playground area substantially. But with that said, we have another fun workshop. Mr. John Weber is going to present his thoughts about celebrating 100 years on the planet Earth.
Not exactly.
No, this is about the logo.
Oh,
Yeah, this is about the logo.
It's about-
Logo one.
Oh, we do have a card, that's right.
Yeah, the card's down there.
We have a card celebrating 100 years
All right.
on this plan. so-
Michelle, there you go, cool.
Sorry,
So,
Jeff.
A committee was formed at my request, I don't know, if it was late 23 or early 24. To unify the branding of Bradley Beach, and you'll see why in a second. So the last mayor had us appoint an actual commission, so you go to the next slide, Michelle. And myself, I chose Councilwoman DeNoble because she's got a good eye and she's really enthusiastic about things. Amy Hall works for the borough and is really good with graphics and imaging and stuff. Kathy Smith, who's here, also works in this field. Melissa Butler, some people may know her, she's a mom in town, she's got 3 kids, go to school. In 2016, when I was knocking on doors to run for council the first time, she said, you know what I think's kind of weird about the town? The marketing, it's kind of like all over the place, it's the branding is, and I said, yeah, you're right, and you'll see an example of that. Her husband just happens to be a graphic artist himself, Shane Butler, and Christine Dickler joined us kind of later, but also has some really great insights in this field, so. No, actually, let me go to the next slide so I know what's coming. Okay, so go to the next slide, Michelle, thank you. And so right now, like I said, the town's name, it's all over the place. It's displayed in a variety of ways, a variety of fonts, there's all these different symbols, there's different colors. There's all of this stuff, and we're gonna show some examples of that. What I'm about to show you is that nobody did anything wrong with any of these images that you're gonna see. It's just that there was no guidance. There was no like, hey, this is what it's, you know. In my mind, I said, if there was some kind of incident and 5 vehicles all from Bradley Beach drove to the same spot, you would not know that they were all from the same town because of the way everybody has a different symbol and a different this and a that. So anyway. Next slide, Michelle, and people will see what I'm talking about. It's displayed in all different ways, again, different symbols, different fonts. You can go to the next slide, Michelle. I have a lot of examples like this. There's more, again, more symbols. Go ahead to the next one. And more symbols, more fonts, and even in the same, you know, Public Works, the last Public Works and this Public Works totally different, and then keep going, Michelle. More, and there's more, one more, maybe 1 or 2 more, and 1 or 2 more. Oh, this one, and I must say, this is the one on the left, it's on the trailer for the Hula Grill, then the same thing is put on some letterhead, but when the letterhead's put in black and white, like in the lower right, to me, that just looks like a little hamburger or something, I don't know. Anyway. You can go to the next one, and we have things like this, and the next one. This is a personal disfavorite of mine. This is it's just me. So go ahead to the next slide. Oh, and there's one more for yeah. And again, more letterhead and more fonts and things like that. So go ahead to the next slide, Michelle. And so when we got this committee together, we talked about you know, a branding and a symbol, we need some kind of icon of the town. I didn't want something that's used by other local towns, waves and seashells, because there's plenty of other towns that use that. We wanted it to be something that's unique to our town, ideally something that there's only one of in our town. We talked about different fonts and different colors. That stuff can convey meaning, and also, you know, you want, for example, with a font, not something that's just like it's fashionable today, or, you know, you're not gonna be able to get that font, you know, years from now. And then the biggest thing, honestly, with the font, with the lettering is ADA compliance, and this is really important in the digital age. Anybody that's worked on a website knows about ADA compliance, and that actually shrinks your universe of fonts a lot. But it's really important, and we had really good discussions about that. And I guess I'll talk about the font a little bit here. We decided, you know, we're kind of leaning into we're 125 years old as a town, we're leaning into the, you know, the history of the town, everybody loves the historic images, the photos up on the boardwalk, you know, so we're like, okay, something that's kind of traditional, shows that we've been around for a while, nothing like futuristic, and modern. And then with all this, we thought, if we do come up with a new symbol, a new logo for the town, there should be a way for existing departments to use the town logo, but then whatever they have, again, if you're the police department or the fire department, where you have your own logo or first aid, you know, use the town logo, and then you can keep whatever you've developed that also says Bradley Beach. I mean, we can have both for things like that. So, next slide, Michelle. And recognizing this, Amy Hall, who again works for the town, she realized we didn't really have anything. So she created this, I believe, I wish she was here because I think she created this from a photograph. And this served us for a while. The concern with this image, again, in the digital age, sometimes you have to print something really small. And I think this, if it went really small, would look probably kind of fuzzy. You know, imagine you're looking at a flyer and this is on the corner of a flyer and you're looking at it on your iPhone, it would just be really tiny. Probably look a little fuzzy. If it was really huge, it would probably look a little pixelated. So then Amy had gone to the next one. Go ahead, next slide, Michelle. So it's just the same thing. And so, you know, we had settled on the gazebo because it's unique to our town. Again, it's not a seashell, it's not a wave that, you know, it's used by other towns. It is the one thing, it's in the middle of our town, it's unique to our town, it is a place for people to gather. If people remember, not too long ago, it had steps and, you know, we knocked that down and we turned it into, again, an ADA compliant building. And it's a place where a lot of things happen in town. So we did settle on this. I mean, you know, using the gazebo is what we're going for. So yeah, so the next one, these are some drafts we went through. We decided we wanted it to be the Fifth Ave gazebo. We had a draft like this. Keep going, Michelle. And then some things like this. I don't want to talk too detail about each one, but keep going. And there's this same idea, but there's seashells in it, there's seahorses in it, there's, you know, our names included, a bunch of different versions. There's this, you know, we got the waves, we got the sun, we got seagrass, and I think at this point, we're like, this is really colorful and it's really kind of busy. And I think, and Kathy, you know, jump in if you wanted to say anything. I think you were the one that said it really has to work in black and white, correct?
Work in black and white, and then we can move on to color, so.
Yeah, so we, from this is just to show the evolution of where we went, we kept going. So next slide, Michelle. Okay, so then Christine Dickler joined us, and this, we were probably like months, if not a year into this, but and she came up with this. And it's different, it's modern, and it's, you know, the font's modern, it's got the arc over it. It was a departure from what we were doing, but people kind of liked it. But I think the problem with this one, remind me, Kathy, is that, you know, the shading, the fact that the gazebo is just done in shades of gray, that's for some reason, it's not reasons that I probably don't understand. It's not gonna work really well as a logo, right?
The shading might fill it in if it was used small, and then we were concerned about the font being ADA compliant, so then.
Yeah, so, but there are aspects of this that we like, so we worked kind of off of this one. So you can go to the next slide. And we moved, Michelle, you can go to the next slide, and we moved into something more like this. Again, now that the font's changed, I think we're going with, Georgia is the font. We kept the arc over it, we kept the grass. It's more black and white, it's not gazebo stuff, it's not so much shaded. I mean, go to the next slide, and there's sort of variations on this, but there's this, this is just lines without the shading. It's not like a huge difference. And then go to the next one, Michelle. Notice I had to put the word draft on every single one of these. This one just had like thicker, bolder lines, and we saw, you know, just playing around with how we like that. And then I think you go to the next one. And this, we sort of settled on, this is one that we really liked kind of the most. And I should say, we are taking, see Ben, and thank you. We are taking some liberties with this, because if you know the front gazebo, the Fifth Ave gazebo, the openings are if you're looking north and south. So if you're standing to the north or the south of it, that's where the openings are. If you're looking, you know, east or west, if you're looking out where you would actually see the grass, it's closed, right? The openings are on the side. So we sort of turned it to make it seem like it's open to the east or west. So this gives the idea if you're looking out towards the dunes and the grass is on the side. And I think there's one final slide that has like the same image. It has to, kind of the reverse of the negative of it. And so we kind of like this for a logo for Bradley Beach. Before people asking, this is nothing final, this is no, nobody, but I didn't list who was working on this thus far. And the next slide is, I think we're kind of in uncharted territory because we've never done this before. It's like, what's the next step? Are there some maybe tiny further refinements? Do we have a discussion, amongst the council and what else? And that's kind of it. And that was just the sort of, letting you into our heads for the last few months. And again, unfortunately, Kathy's the only one that was on the commission that could be here, although of course Jane was on it as well. So I'd like to stop talking and let either of you chime in on any of this. And yeah, what are your thoughts?
We did have one more version after that, actually, that we boxed in the Bradley Beach and kind of connected it. So we can.
Oh, okay.
Do you have that one up there?
Can you go back 2 slides, Michelle? Sorry. I don't have it. And it would simply be the Bradley Beach, it was kind of boxed in.
And it was
I don't
kind
know
of
why
connected
I
together.
didn't have that for some reason.
I'll find it, but yeah, but that's basically the idea, and I love the look of it. I think it's like a sun rising or the moon rising. I like the angle of the gazebo. We did have it closed up, and I felt even though it's kind of, cheating, like it's not really open to the east and west, but it's more welcoming, like come into our town. You have the dune grass, which we love, our dunes, and that's very significant in Bradley Beach. And it really represents a town. Well, I think the gazebo represents a small town feel as well. So you say a lot with this logo, because it kind of encompasses who we are. And I think it's in the history as well, established 1893. So it's a lot going on there, and it's very simple, but it says a lot.
Yeah.
Can you show the final one?
Isn't that it?
No.
Sorry. Can you go one more slide
Yeah.
forward, Michelle? Sorry.
There's another version of it.
Oh, wait, one more forward. Sorry.
Keep going.
I think you're going backwards.
Yeah, she's.
No, you're going backwards. You're forward. Yeah. Yeah, here we go. No, yeah, that's either one.
I think the thing about a logo too, it has to work both in black and then in white on the dark background. So we worked on that. I think Shane did a great job on the design. It's very simplified the line work because again, we didn't want it to be too busy. And we love the font on this as well. And yeah, it was a real team effort and it took us a while to get here, but
Yeah.
it's bad, but it's.
We took some time off in the middle.
Really represents the town.
And I just want to say one thing. I know I mentioned Christine Dickler, that version she had. Everything after that, Shane Butler had done, so I neglected to mention his name. And these people worked as all volunteers and they put in their time and they put in their effort. And I'll say one final thing, Amy Hall has expertise in this area, so she started putting it on merchandise and she had like just images of this on like a shirt and a cup and a glass and a bag. And so she's gonna suggest some really other minor refinements that I think just make it better for going on merchandise, and I trust her on that, so, but yeah, everybody put in a great effort and.
Good question.
Sure.
So the image itself actually becomes a square, right? Wherever you're gonna put it, right? You have to have, it's bordered as a square.
I believe that Shane might be able to do iterations where it can be shown vertically as well. I mean, horizontally.
Got it.
As well.
And then where would the verbiage for any of the departments go in your vision? The police department, the fire department, whatever, any of the departments.
Hey, John was.
Yeah, I was thinking, if, let's just say I was thinking letterhead or something, right? It's like, this is in one side and says, Bradley Beach, and also a thing like this. We're gonna have situations where just the image is separated from the word Bradley Beach, like say we have letterhead and across the middle on the top, it says Bradley Beach. We probably would just put the symbol of the gazebo on this side and then whatever the police department used for their, on their side, if it's a shield, I think the chief is displaying it right now on it right there. It's just similarly, fire department has one, first aid has one, so I would envision, both could go up there. But the point is that, and we're not gonna change everything and strip every logo, tomorrow, it's over time, as we're replacing a sign, as we're getting a new vehicle, as we're getting, if this became the standard, then sooner or later, we would just look like this unified branded town, and I think that would be wonderful, so that That's the idea there, that's.
So on a vehicle, let's say, not on letterhead, on a vehicle or something like that, would the department go like underneath it? Or would it just be a symbol and it would go wherever it goes? I mean, does this design accommodate being able to put the department as part of the logo?
I think that's one of the things that's still yet to be figured out, like, this was important to get to this point, which is the logo. And then, there's a lot more that goes like, how it's applied, and you would, again. When would you separate just the image from the word Bradley Beach? Do we like the way Bradley Beach Police is written on police cars right now, things like that. Can the two coexist? I think somebody would have to take a strong look at that, so.
This would start with the website. It would
Yeah.
start with business cards, letterhead, and then from there, so. It's just, you start with this and then you take it from there, so.
Yeah. Start with this, we end with world domination. No,
Yes.
we just Unify the town.
Everybody,
Unify the
I
town.
love Bradley. Okay, that's great.
So, John, I'm a little disappointed you guys didn't put little seagulls like every other beach. Just joking. No, I just wanted to thank you and Jane and the volunteers we've had, and Kathy, thank you. Just for all the work you guys have put into this. I 100% agree. We do have a little bit of an identity crisis. So I think this is wonderful. I imagine, I'm gonna hear from the public shortly, but I imagine when people identify with the gazebo. Probably like Sean, I would wonder, how this will look in practice. Council President DeNovo was sharing some pictures that they've worked out showing this on mugs and on different types of merchandise, bags and what have you. It looks really good there. But how does it look on street signs?
Mhm.
How does it look on the police car? So probably a little more, discussion, but I applaud you guys for getting us this far. I think it looks really good as a starting point and, more work to come. Once again, as we did last time, let's open this up to the public just to get reactions, get everybody letting us know what you think on a first pass of a design.
Not everybody.
I saw a lot of nodding and
just
smiles, so I
those two.
appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Put it on the badges.
Brigitte,
Right, that'd be nice.
I just want to reiterate what Shauna brought up and.
Name
what
and
you just
address.
said, Mayor,
You
just
got it. Come on, you can do it.
the worst.
name and
Oh,
address.
Brigitte McGuire, 610 Brindley. I know starting out website and cards, business cards or something, I get that. But then what if it's a big fail on the fire truck and the police cars so I do think the importance of trying to figure that out before we start branding everything is really important. So I just agree with Shauna to push on that. Thanks.
Great. Mr. Nishamkin.
Thank you for doing this effort. I think it's needed. I still think, though, that you need to simplify a little bit more, especially when you start talking about use on different departments and adding material there. I would try to simplify the image some more, and I also would consider dropping the established 1893 date, even though I am the president. of the Historical Society.
So why is that? Why is that?
I don't think that that's essential for the basic logo. Obviously, that can be added, when you want to make that point, but this logo has to be used in a variety of ways. And therefore, I think it has to be abstracted a bit and simplified a bit. Thank you.
Good feedback, thank you.
Thank you. Other reactions, Mr. Cohen?
Thomas J. Cohen, I agree with Mr. Nishamkin's comments, and thank you, Weber and everybody who worked on it, because it was a team effort, and now hopefully it can be part of our town. And I always wondered why there was a cigarette though in one of the logos, was it Bradley Beach Baywatch or what? I couldn't figure it out. I don't know. And the diamond plate logos on the public works trucks, I'm like, no, but so this is a conjoined effort and it's gonna really help our branding. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Meta.
I'm the detractor.
You
You don't have to be.
I do have to be. And
You can choose
I
to.
do have to be. Because how many years have I said we have no branding? So great that we're getting there. I don't understand why we would be branded with a plastic building that is Victorian in style, because that is not what I think of as the history of Bradley Beach. So I would be interested to know how these hardworking people came to give us only one object as a suggestion. When I think of branding, I also think of a tagline. I'd like to think you will be getting there. It is interesting to me that the person who, and I complained years ago, who grabbed the gazebo when she was hired to put on things, actually puts a sandcastle on her portion of the website. So, that's sort of a little disrespectful for what was the direction to begin with. I don't think, honestly, other than we live at the beach and we have some dune grass, which I remember was a whole bit of contention with when that was put in. I don't see where it says anything about us. I think it's also a great drawing, but I don't think it's gonna translate well. I think simple, less is more. You know, and why aren't we including the little kids at the school? It should be about Bradley Beach Breakers, that is inclusive. And I know I've said that to at least 3 of you. So, you know, I know that I've lost, I know you're getting what you want. I'm just really disappointed after all of this hard work that everyone put into it, that we're the plastic Victorian building.
Well, just to answer your question about the schools, Ms. Meadow, they have their own branding, you know, you say it's the Breakers, so they have a new
Why can't we?
mascot, right, they have a new mascot
Yes,
this year,
I've seen
which
it.
is the
Yes,
seagull, what's the seagull's name? I
Yes.
can't remember the seagull.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the
Bradley.
colors were gold and green, and then the colors were blue and blue.
yeah, but
And so they're sort of like where we are, they're not in one place as far as branding and marketing. So
maybe it's because we didn't.
they can join us and.
No, maybe we should have joined them and then support.
I tried to put their wave in the background too, but it got too busy.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah.
let's,
We
let's,
discussed, listen,
We did a lot of work.
let's move on. More
Okay.
comments?
That Catholic Iowa Central, again, I don't really feel strongly about it one way or the other. As long as someone's stealing our money, I'm good with what all of you decide. But I just want to say that thank you for working hard, and I just want to comment that it's elegant and I think it's classy and simple. And I can see it on our beach badges already. And I just want to also say how refreshing it is to sit here and we can all not have the same opinion and we can all laugh and joke and share our opinions and start to move forward, and it really feels good. And I just wanted to say that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. No other comments here? Anyone? Mr. Greenberg?
Hey guys, Don Greenberg, 302 Park Place Avenue, sort of right now. There is a roof back on my house.
Oh, there you go.
So I just would say that whatever the final design is, it should be amenable to color. I mean, black and white's fine, but you got to put a pop of color in there. And I just think it needs a little more schmaltz. And if anybody needs a definition of that, you can look it up in the Yiddish English dictionary.
I got it. More schmaltz.
Schmaltz. You gotta have a lot of hook in that word. Schmaltz.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Greenberg. I see no other hands, so we'll close the session, but thank you all for your feedback. And
I actually want to give a round of applause, even though only Kathy and Dan are here. For everybody
Very much, everybody.
Kathy, if you could work on the schmaltz part. Okay, we have two presentations to do this evening. The first one, we're going to join our municipal clerk as we read a proclamation for Municipal Clerks Week. Donna, that's all.
Oh,
Join here.
oh, I love this.
We all going down there?
There we go. Yes.
And you're gonna have to take a picture of yourself with us behind now.
This is the 55th Annual Professional Municipal Clerks Week, May 4th through May 10th. Whereas the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world. And whereas the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk is the oldest among public servants, not Eric. And whereas the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies and agencies of government at other levels. And whereas professional municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all. Whereas the professional municipal clerk serves as the information center on the functions of local government and community. Whereas professional municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the professional municipal clerk through participation in educational programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, provincial, county, and international professional organizations. Whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the office of the professional municipal clerk. Now therefore be it resolved, governing body of the Borough of Bradley Beach do recognize the week of May 4th through May 10th, 2025 as Professional Municipal Clerks Week and further extend appreciation to all professional municipal clerks for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent. Dated this 15th day of April, 2025.
Thank
Okay.
Thank you.
And I think. I'm so glad we have Municipal Clerks Week because I might not otherwise have an opportunity to just brag about you for a second. And I've only been doing this job as mayor for, I guess, 4 months, right?
Yes,
Just-
yeah.
Just passed. Erica is, yeah, 4 months and 6 days. I can say now from a mayor's perspective, when I see the, you know, how the sausage is made and all of the work that goes into preparing for every meeting, all of the Oprah stuff that goes back and forth. Erica is a crazy devoted employee. She works so hard, is so conscientious. And the quick story I'm gonna mention, because it describes this woman. Heading into our very first meeting on January 1st. I got a text from Erica, can I talk at 11:55 New Year's Eve. It was 5 minutes before New Year's Eve. And I'm staying up with my glass of champagne, bringing the new year. And I get a text and I text back, can I call you in 10 minutes? I just want to get the countdown. So, but that just shows, it doesn't matter, time of day, weekday, weekend. This is a very dedicated person. And I just want to make sure, there are gonna be times where people get frustrated with the clerk and maybe there's some issue about an open request. But just understand it's very, very conscientious, dedicated individual, and I thank you personally.
If I could just ask everybody to also give a hand to Michelle because she's.
We have one more proclamation to read and Council President DeNoble will do that.
It would be my honor. Get my glasses, oh, here they are. Okay. Borough of Bradley Beach Proclamation, National Public Works Week. Whereas Public Works services provided in our community are an integral part of our citizens' everyday lives. And whereas the support of an understanding and informed public is vital to the efficient operation of public works systems and programs, including water, sewer, streets, public buildings, solid waste collection, landfill, wastewater disposal, code enforcement, and engineering to provide these essential services to our citizens. Whereas the health, safety, and comfort of this community greatly depends on these facilities and services. Whereas the quality and effectiveness of these facilities, as well as the planning, design, and construction is vitally dependent upon the efforts and skills of public works officials, and whereas the efficiency of the qualified and dedicated personnel who staff the Public Works Department is materially influenced by the people's attitude and understanding the importance of the work they perform. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the governing body of the Borough of Bradley Beach do hereby proclaim the week of May 18th through the 24th, 2025 as Public Works Week. Building for today, planning for tomorrow in the Borough of Bradley Beach, and call upon all citizens and civic organizations to equate themselves with the issues involved in providing our public works and to recognize the contributions which public works officials make every day to our health, safety, comfort, and quality of life.
And I'm gonna make one more quick comment about our public works group. I think I'm preaching to the choir here when I say that everyone appreciates everything these individuals do for us, for our community. And we see them every day, whether it be helping us picking up garbage and recycling, taking care of our beachfront. I mean, there's so much they do. But what often goes unsaid, and Mr. Doherty is actually tracking that for us this year. What goes unsaid is how uniquely talented these individuals are, that they do work for the borough during their weekly schedule that we would often have to pay professionals to do. For example, they're going to put pavers in and repair pavers on our rec center. Our engineer estimates that's going to save this borough $75,000. They built, as we're preparing for Memorial Day weekend and opening of our beaches, they've already built handicap wheelchair accessible showers at the beachfront. They've moved a curb line in the parking lot that's going to be a pickup and drop off. They're an amazingly talented, dedicated group of people, but they do so much for this borough. And I've had people say to me, well, that's their job. I mean, don't stop praising employees for doing their job. I will say unequivocally, these people go well beyond their job. And they really, I've had engineers from outside of the borough say, who haven't worked with us before, say, it's amazing what your DPW people accomplish and what they do and the money they save. We've got significant sewer challenges on one of our streets we're addressing as a borough. They've been out almost every day, and certainly over a couple times a week, pulling sand out of this one sewer. Mr. Doherty's been working on this specifically. And Biagio Cavone told me the other day, they pulled 3 truckloads of sand out of a sewer on Ocean Park.
Wow.
We're racing to fix this. It's an emergency. But right now, these guys are out there virtually every day, helping this community. And it does go above and beyond the typical job. So again, could it be a better time to recognize the work they do, especially with all they're doing to help us prepare for the upcoming beach season and Memorial Day? So thank you to our DPW.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to move on to item 7 on our agenda, the approval of the minutes. Let's see, do I have a motion to approve April 15? Anyone care to make a motion?
Make the motion, and then I'll second. Oh, you weren't here?
No, I was here. I'm trying to spread the wealth. that someone-
I would be happy to make the motion to accept the minutes of April 15th.
And I'll second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki excuse Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Gubitosi?
Yes. Anyone care to make a motion for April 29th approval of minutes?
I will make a motion for April 29th, special meeting minutes.
To approve them?
To approve
I
them.
will second. I will second.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenwood?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki, excuse, Mr. Weber?
Was not here.
Mayor Gupatesi.
Yes. Move to item 8 on the agenda, public comments or questions pertaining to this agenda specifically. Yes,
I would like to ask.
if you could come up.
Just state your name and
Yes,
address.
sorry. Luann Bartlett, 312 Main Street. And I would like to ask Mr. Doherty, what the status is on 310 Main Street with the, tent, this outdoor storage facility that's going on.
Ms. Bartlett, I'm sorry, this may not be related to an agenda item,
I know,
but
but I can't speak about it. I can't ask Mr. Doherty.
you can, but there's a reservation for public comment on all other items at the end of our agenda. I'll tell you in 1 second.
Okay,
It is agenda item 14.
so I have to wait till then.
But I mean, you could call Matt anytime. You have his business card, right?
Do you want me to call you?
Yes, that's what he's there for. He always answers the
I know.
phone and he'll help you anytime. I don't want anyone to feel they have to wait for a meeting.
No, right,
Yeah.
I do speak, I have spoken to him.
Yeah.
And I've spoken to the rest of you, but I just thought that maybe it's been another month and I wanted to know what's going on.
You should call him every day.
I'm gonna call you every day.
Okay, anytime. That's what
Thank
he's
you.
here for. That's what we're here for, to help,
Okay.
help answer.
And I'm sorry to cut
questions.
you off, we're just trying to
That's
follow.
okay.
Yeah.
I understand, thank you.
And you have his card, right?
I do.
Okay, good.
Thank
And
you.
anybody else needs it too. He's great at answering questions. He answers my questions. I call him a lot too.
And we're gonna move fairly quickly through this agenda if you do choose to stay a little
Yeah.
bit. Ms. Kupis.
My name is Shashis on 12th Avenue. I was reviewing the bills list. And I noticed that we are preparing for the Memorial Day Parade and events. And I just want to bring to council's attention to make sure that you, I don't know if you can or not, but with the vendors. Last year, there was a vendor that was selling, gel shots of vodka. And I don't know if that's really appropriate for our news, for it to be on the boardwalk. So just be mindful of that.
And they were selling shots of vodka, you
I
said?
can show you, I have a picture. Okay.
If you wouldn't mind sharing that with Mr. Doherty afterwards, just so he'll know the name of the vendor. Afterwards,
Yeah. No problem.
but thank you. Yes, sir.
Rick Bartolome, 116 Newark. This is one of my favorite topics, is the trailer for Newark Avenue for the concession. For a number of years, it's been going on, like 5 or 6 different concession people there over the last number of years. And the only thing I'm requesting is that when you do come up with a new proposal, that includes food. We don't need just ice cream, we don't need just tacos, we just want food. And I think that financially wise, when people come there, they're gonna buy hot dogs, hamburgers, french fries, that will more than make up for the amount they're paying on their lease. So I think if you have a basic summer menu there, I think that will solve a lot of the issues about getting people to re-up on their lease. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Any other questions in the room? Yes, sir, or comment, or ma'am. I'm sorry. Linda, please.
Oh, remember now, my name is Maslaka Duffy. I already commented on that. Linda Duffy. Rachel, really, I'm kind of confused right now, but anyway, the beach badges, I do hope we increase the amount from last year to make up for the possible difference of not having as many people come. But I think people will come anyway, even if we increase it to $16, not saying that we should increase it to $16, but people will come to Bradley Beach no matter what. It doesn't make a difference if it's $14, $15, they're gonna come. Because it's a family town, we offer a lot of entertainment, we have a beautiful beach and a lovely facade that we can walk on. And the boardwalk is beautiful and it connects with all the other towns. And Asbury Park, which the younger crowd likes to visit. So please entertain that, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any questions in Zoom? No, seeing no further questions, we'll move to item number 9 on our agenda, ordinance introduction. I'll start this one with ordinance 2025-16, supplementing chapter 115 animals of the Borough's revised general ordinance to include pet waste. And this is language provided to us by the state of New Jersey. Any comments or concerns or questions?
I'm just, yeah, I guess the question. We already have an ordinance for this, and we're just changing a little bit of language to make the state happy with their stormwater or requirements, right, Greg? Is that right?
Yes, as part of the stormwater pollution prevention plan, it's required for your permit with the DEP. And so this is the model ordinance that they have to ensure that pet waste doesn't end up functionally in the water.
Right, and just, they don't like, we call it pet waste and they want to call it something else, that's
Well,
kind
it
of what it
was-
comes down to.
Yeah, it was waste, this is what it, waste matter expelled from the bowels of the pet, excrement. Okay, instead, they change it to means feces from any domesticated animal.
Okay,
So there's the,
big change.
yeah, that's a lot of detail there.
They didn't like the Greg Cannon model language in Roosevelt either.
Oh,
They made me change it there too. I thought I did a good job on that definition.
Right, but I don't know, yeah,
Whatever.
I guess it has a domesticated animal, so. There you go.
So we could spend a lot more time on this.
Yeah, no, we're good.
Nice.
We're good. That's the only thing I see change, that looks good. Okay, you wanna make a motion?
Yes, I'll make a motion that we approve the introduction of ordinance 2025-16 regarding chapter 115 animals and pet waste.
Second,
Mr. Noble?
yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki, excuse, Mr. Weber?
Yes,
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. Ordinance 2025-14, do I have a motion?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to adopt.
We're going into adoption, so you have to do a public hearing. So make a motion to open a public hearing.
Oh, so I'd like to make a motion to open to a public hearing for ordinance 2025-14. Do I read the entire ordinance?
Just
Okay, amending article 7, Arts Committee of Chapter 24, Commissions and Committees of the Borough's Revised General Ordinances.
I'll second that.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki, excuse, Mr. Weber?
yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. We'll open it up to public comment or questions.
This is the one that we're just basically changing the name of the Arts Committee to the Arts Committee, a legacy to Julia
and Rand, and we're also adding two alternates.
And I see no questions or comments in the room, nothing on Zoom, so we'll make a motion to adopt.
To close? And
To close
and
public
adopt.
session and adopt. Thank you.
You're welcome.
For a second.
Second,
Mr. Noble?
There's a wonderful legacy for Julia, yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
yes.
Mr. Nowicki, excuse, Mr. Weber?
Yes, and thanks for doing it.
Mayor Gubatose?
Thank you, Councilwoman Greenblatt. This was a very nice gesture and very important. I think that we recognize Ms. Rand's contributions to the borough. I vote yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move to item 10, which is community.
You have to do ordinance 15.
I always miss the ordinance at the top of the.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, ordinance 2025-15, an ordinance amending chapter 335, parking regulated of the borough's revised general ordinances in order to implement the borough's new park mobile system. I'll open that up to public comment or questions.
Second to.
Those are second.
Second. Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki, excuse, Mr. Weber?
Yes,
Mayor Gubatose?
So I'm confused. I was under the impression the public should have the opportunity to comment before. we
Yes,
vote.
would anyone like
Okay.
to comment?
I mean, before we vote, right? Right,
Yes.
okay. So we'll hold off on those yeses for a moment. Is there any question or comment? Okay, seeing no further public comment, we'll continue the vote.
Make a motion to close and adopt.
Make a motion to close that.
Sorry.
It's all right, we're getting to
We're
it.
getting
Can I
there.
ask a couple?
Nope. Yes, you may.
So are we planning to remove the street, the numbers?
Yes.
And we're gonna be putting up some signage, right? Some signage.
Yes.
Okay, and that's really, and are we removing the pay stations at this point or waiting on that?
So, thank you for the questions. There's, there's a good amount going on right now, but Park Mobile is an app-based thing. We're gonna get rid of cash on Ocean Ave. We all think it's a very good thing. It's very efficient. It's tried and true practice in surrounding municipalities. But we did have pay stations that required credit card and or cash. You can put in quarters, I guess. The pay station signs, the big P for parking, those will remain. We're gonna leave them because they're really good visible signs and they're in good shape. A lot of the equipment we have is being removed to the extent it was going to need to be replaced anyway. But Park Mobile is an app-based system. So we are going to paint their decal on every parking space, and there's 400 or so, I don't know. Is that right, chief?
Yes.
400 plus parking spaces. And we will strategically place signs, been through this with Chief Arnold in pretty good detail. But strategically place Park Mobile signs with the QR codes so that residents can see them from a distance where those big E signs are for parking. Chief, is there anything I'm leaving out on in terms of the signage?
No, there'll be signs posted all along the beachfront. And just as many signs as were already down there for parking. And then like the mayor said, the Park Mobile's logo will be spray painted on every spot, basically where the numbers are currently.
So we have to do those. We have to do the Park Mobile like Belmar has.
Yes.
We do.
When you say we have to, what?
Because I thought we were talking about, do we really have to have Park Mobile at every spot? But I guess we do.
Well, we do because if people don't follow the law and they don't pay. And they say, well, I didn't see a Park Mobile sign on my spot. That's basically what we've learned through our homework with Park Mobile. So we need the decal on every spot.
Especially because the west side is free.
Right.
So they would know the difference.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so I think we're good. I did make the motion to close public
Yes.
session and adopt. Did we vote?
No, I need a second.
Second, okay.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki, excuse, Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes.
Now it's done.
Now I can go to communications, okay. Two quick communication points. We are appointing a new OEM deputy coordinator, Mr. Daniel,
Irati, is it?
I just want to add an.
Arati.
Arati.
Yeah.
And Mr. Arati has a tremendous amount of experience in emergency management. He'll be working with Mr. Norm Goldfarb, our director. So very exciting that he's willing to join us on a volunteer basis. And secondarily, for the 2025 budget update, folks are aware we have a new CFO. She was actually just here as the meeting began, had to leave. But the plan at this point in time, she is coming up to speed on our budget. We're going to have a public hearing on May 20th. She will stay as long as needed, entertain as many questions as needed. And at that time, if there are no significant questions from the public and or from the council, we'll plan to adopt the budget on May 20th. That concludes the communications. And now we'll move to item 11, resolutions. We have a number of consent agenda resolutions. Would anyone like any of these discussed or voted out separately? Okay, I'll make a motion to approve consent agenda resolution items 2025-164 through 2025-173.
Second,
Ms. DeNoble?
yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki excuse Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. Okay, moving to individual resolution section 2025-174, beach operation schedule for 2025. Important to note here, and hopefully everyone in the audience is aware of this, but we are slightly, the schedule is the same as it's been in prior years. The one exception is we're slightly changing the time that beach badge checkers will be working. They typically on weekends, they would work till 5, weekdays work till 4. We're moving them a half an hour earlier. So weekends, for example, would be until 4:30 instead of 5. The idea is we've looked at the data. No one purchases beach badges in the last hour really of the day. People who are gonna come late come at 5 o'clock, but they're not gonna pay $13 or whatever for that 1 hour. But it also provides an opportunity for folks who might not be able to afford a beach badge to get on an hour earlier. A lot of folks in town will wait until 5 to get on the beach. And this will afford them a half an hour earlier entrance. So that's the gist of 2025-174. Any questions or comments?
So does that save us a little bit of money too?
It saves us a little bit of money too. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve 2025-174 beach operation schedule for 2025.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki excuse Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. Okay, item 2025-175, daily and weekly beach badge costs for 2025. The current level, we brought forward the current level, which is $13 for the daily and $45 for weekly.
Yep.
So the question is, are those the appropriate amounts? Should we consider changes? Questions or thoughts?
How long have we been at that rate?
Definitely last year.
Definitely last year and I believe the year before.
And in 2020, we were at $13 daily and then we dropped it down.
Yes.
We dropped it down to 12 for a couple of years.
Yes.
In the last 2 years, maybe we've been back at 13. I know the reason I started us at, again, for prompting this discussion, but the reason I started us at maintaining the $13 level is because the beach utility is in pretty good financial shape now. Every year, we're very dependent on the weather. If we have sunny weekends, the beach is flush with cash. If we have a lot of rainy weekends or even weather forecasts that the weekend's gonna be rainy, people don't come and then the sun comes out, we lose revenue in any event. But we also have a very substantial surplus at the moment. There were points in recent history where our surplus dwindled down to $50,000 5 or 6 years ago. Right now, we're closer to $700,000. So we probably have we definitely have the ability to weather bad weather, basically. Didn't intend that pun, but it just came out.
You said 700,000?
About 700,000.
Okay, thank you.
And the other point worth noting is every dollar in beach badge daily prices is worth around $100,000. So if we were to bump it up 100,000 more, take it down 100,000 less, again, we have a 700,000 give or take buffer should we need it. So my thinking was to keep the prices where they are. I agree with what Ms. Duffy said earlier. I do think our pricing is very elastic. And what I mean by that is if we were to raise it $1, I don't think people are going to price shop and go to another beach to save $1. So I think it's less about, could we make an extra $1? I think we could. We are tasked with the fiduciary responsibility of maintaining the beaches and getting reimbursed for that maintenance. Not necessarily to, add to our surplus or to quote unquote profit from it. So I was inclined to suggest we keep the beach badge prices where they are.
And I would support that. I like the idea. I think other towns in a similar situation just would say they could raise them, so they would raise them. And I like the idea of not raising them for a year.
And also, did we increase the seasonal rates for this current year? Because that factors in, you know, if we did increase it there, then we're getting more revenue in that respect.
I wanna say we stayed the same on that, I don't think.
They have dropped seniors, was the senior?
Yeah, I believe, yeah,
I think we
yes,
kept seasonal and seniors. We dropped them the amount we raised them. the year
yes,
before.
yep,
Okay.
So it's basically a wash on the season.
Yeah, I think it's very fair, these prices.
We were leading the edge. I think we were leading edge. I think others were at 12 or 11 when we were at 13 last year. They may be catching up or they may be shadow pricing and matching or passing us, but looking at our utility, I think we're healthy financially. So no further discussion.
Are we comfortable with the weekly as well? At that amount, the weekly is.
do we
what's
sell that
set.
many weekly?
We don't, but the weeklies are relatively new. And we're still sort of.
Trying it out.
Make
Okay.
it known that there's weeklies, but yeah.
Okay, I will make a motion then that we approve resolution 2025-175 daily and weekly badge cost for 2025.
Second,
Ms. DeNoble?
yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki, excuse, Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. The next few of these, I'm gonna read through each one and hopefully we'll decide quickly, but they're all related to our new QPA, encouraging us to adopt new
Yes.
purchasing cooperatives. So 2025-176, authorizing the qualified purchasing agent to receive certain bids in accord with NJAC .5:34-5.1 E hyphen procurement. Is there a second? I'll make a motion. Is there a second?
Yeah, second. Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki, excuse, Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. 2025-177, authorizing the use of Sourcewell National Cooperative. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki, excuse, Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. 2025-178, authorizing the use of Omnia Partners, formerly known as US Communities National Cooperative. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second,
Ms. DeNoble?
yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki, excuse, Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. Mr. Weber, what's the one that you want to have conversation?
180.
180, okay, great. 2025-179, authorizing the Borough of Bradley Beach to enter into a cooperative pricing agreement with the Huntington County Educational Services Cooperative Purchasing. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki, excuse, Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. So 2025-180 is authorizing the Borough of Bradley Beach to enter into a cooperative pricing agreement with the Educational Services Commission of New Jersey Cooperative Pricing System. Mr. Weber, you did want to discuss this.
Yeah, this, I had a question about this because this was regarding, double check.
Purchasing electricity.
Yeah, wait, is this one doesn't say the purchase of electricity. Sorry, I'm not finding the document. Why does it seem like a different?
I'm good.
Yeah, no, not, it's
Good,
not one.
so-
There was oh boy,
What number was it?
180.
Was
180.
it wasn't the resolution, oh boy.
Maybe it was 177, Sourcewell? I don't know.
You
Sorry.
know, Is it possible, Erica, that there's a. When you resent all these out, so they're all in one place,
Mhm.
was there one that was left out, because there was a?
No.
No, okay, so then, then I,
I didn't attach each agreement on your second,
it was the agreement.
it was the
that-
agreement, yeah.
The
okay.
agreement is the one that talked about electricity, but it doesn't, the resolution
The
doesn't. talk about
resolution
electricity.
doesn't.
So just so people know, my concern is that we've been working on this sustainable Monmouth, it's an agreement with 7 other towns in Monmouth County to hopefully buy. Electricity cooperatively and save money. It's never panned out because the price of electricity keeps rising. I mean, there's no sense in entering into this cooperative unless we're actually gonna save people money. So I just didn't want us to enter into this other thing if we're somehow obligated in the one that exists. So that's why I put a flag on that. But it's only the agreement itself that talks about electricity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the-
So I kind of don't know. Like,
So,
Have you resolved your concerns about that?
That's educational services.
Yeah.
That's the electrical line.
That's it.
Okay, so then if it is at 180, then can we table that? Okay. I would like to table it.
You want to make a motion?
Sure, I'll make a motion that we table resolution 2025-180, possibly till the next meeting.
Second.
Thanks.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki excused? Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. As folks are aware, we did lose the concession at Newark Avenue, so 2025-181 is authorizing us to advertise for bids for the Newark Avenue concession. And as noted by others, we'll make sure that it has any requests that we make are requesting an array of foods to be provided, not just, for example, ice cream alone. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a question on that.
Okay, please.
Is there any way that if they do have an array of foods, that we can also request that there's some healthy foods? Because we have a concession on Second Avenue and there's nothing healthy there.
Boy, I don't want to go to the beach with you.
Sorry. You're in a bathing suit. You're in a bathing suit. You're gonna eat hamburger and french fries? I don't know.
We have some celery with that fried.
I know, right?
I think, I mean, I hear what you're saying. I think they feel like this is what I have to sell to make the money. Because we could give the concession away for less money and say, sell healthy food.
Not only,
But-
not only, but
Right,
variety.
I know, I mean, it'd be great if we found a vendor like that, but we're sort of at the mercy of who bids on this thing. You know?
I think we could say, we could certainly encourage healthy foods, but, to Councilman Weber's point, the folks are gonna be bidding as concessionaires, trying to maximize their profitability. It might be difficult. They may not have large profit margins on quote unquote healthy foods. That said, I know my wife has told me many times, pliables can be very
Right.
healthy. And they're big at the beach, so we just can't dictate it. We need to see who the highest bidder is.
We can tell pliables.
Can we ask the question if we do get to that point?
I think we can put it in well, let me ask Mr. Doherty, who's got, and Mr. Cannon, both who have a lot of experience. Gentlemen, if we want to, again, I don't think we want to make it a requirement for fear of discouraging bidding. But could we include in an RFP that, healthy foods are an advantage?
We could ask our new QPA. He'll make that decision.
And Greg, have you
Thank you.
also, we definitely.
I mean, I've seen them with different, I ultimately QPA will decide. But I've seen them different, but you can say ice cream concession or hot dog. We had a hot dog cart at one point. You can specify the type of food, but you pointed out the market concerns. The more specific you get, the less people are gonna bid.
Yeah.
So,
And generally speaking, from my experience, parents want chicken fingers and french fries.
Honestly, not all parents, and I.
No, yeah,
All right.
and we don't want to even make those judgments, although, my parents were probably your parents' friend.
I mean, just to include some healthy foods.
Yeah.
Not exclusive.
Oh, we could ask in the bidding, we say,
Yeah.
give us your ideas on, as you submit your bid, give us ideas on what kind of healthy foods you could. And maybe all things being equal, we could make that choice.
Yeah, again, it's gonna come down to, we're asking people to bid on a concession, they're gonna wanna make money. And we'll certainly encourage it, but if somebody's offering us 10,000 more and their food's not as healthy, we're probably gonna take the 10,000.
Well, that's the thing, and we have to ask QPA, I don't know if you'd even have the option of taking the one that's lower than 10,000, if they do offer healthy food.
not if you didn't specify it at the beginning, like you said, if you put some sort
Right,
of
if you limit,
specification in.
right, if you specify you can only serve these 5-6 items, then yeah, you could do that, but you can have a tough
The
time.
market difficulty is that healthy foods spoil, just like, because they're fresh foods. So, that's always the difficulty when you get the concession. Yeah, the reason it's the french fries instead of $5 because it's easy, it's frozen, and then you make it, and then you don't have shrink, that's the. So that's why it costs you less money, you don't get it the same bid.
But yeah, and again, there could, I don't wanna rule out healthy foods, guys, we're just right now trying to approve an RFP to ask people to.
There you go. All right.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we approve 2025-181, authorizing to advertise for bids for the Newark Avenue
Second.
concession.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki excused, Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi.
Yes. Okay, 2025-182, designating handicapped parking access and drop-off areas at the borough's beachfront. Number one, within its Cliff Avenue parking lot, and two, adjacent to the public beach entrance at the intersection of Ocean Avenue and Evergreen Avenue.
Second,
Mr. Noble?
yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki excused, Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi.
Yes. 2025-183, authorizing right of entry for temporary work area in connection with Sylvan Lake Flume Replacement Project. Councilman Nowicki has been working on this, but Mr. Doherty, can you spend a second describing this to the public, or should I?
Yeah, this is, the
Right of
wooden
access.
box that's in the southern part of town. And this is gonna permit the NJ, DEP, the ability to use part of the beach that's behind the current pump station that really is underutilized as a staging area for sand.
Yeah. And
The
the,
equipment will be on the Avon side, but the sand will be on the Bradley Beach side.
because they're doing this repair work for that outfall pipe, they need a place to put their equipment. It's a temporary easement and therefore a fairly commonplace in the engineering world.
And can I ask one question? This hasn't started yet, correct?
Correct.
Alright,
So
so,
they'll probably start in maybe October, November, and it'll be done by March.
okay, so, at the top it's dated for today, but on the bottom of the second page, it says beginning October 20th, 2024. Should we change the date on that to like something more modern?
It should be 2025.
Probably, we should.
Well, we don't think the work's gonna start till October?
2025, correct.
Okay, because it says October 20th, 2024, so. maybe-
Wait, wait,
The
what is
bottom of the second page, the last thing says grant of right of entry, and there's a date of October 20th, 2024.
Okay,
That's why I was wondering if it started in where.
all right, so as you say, 2025? Okay.
John, you said on the last page, right? Is that?
No, the bottom of the second page.
Okay.
I think
Certifying,
the reason why it says 2024 is this has been sitting around for a while, that's all.
Oh, okay.
Erica, there's another reference on the very last page. I certified that on 2024.
Okay, I did not do that resolution.
No, no,
I'm just saying, if you keep on the date, if you don't change anything, you just keep it 2024, then I'll start until October 2025
Okay.
anyway. so it
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
I'll change all the 24s to 25s if that's what you're,
It-
Is this on the right of entry?
Yeah.
Well, that must have, so those are DEP for rights of entry, so that must have been when they first sent it to the borough.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, it
Yeah,
doesn't,
just-
tell me up to the council, it doesn't really matter, practically speaking.
So just leave it, don't amend it.
I would just leave it.
okay,
I think, I think we should amend that you're certifying it on a date in 2024. We should certify it when we do it. 2025, yeah.
my
So-
certification, you mean, the certification
Yeah.
says 2024?
Yes.
Okay, no problem, I'll change that.
I sent you the Word doc, didn't
Yeah,
Okay, so, make a motion to change the date to 2025 for the certification. For a second.
Second.
Yes.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki excuse, Mr. Weber?
Yes,
Mayor Gubatosi.
Yes, and make a motion to approve 2025-183 temporary work area in connection with Sylvan Lake as amended.
second.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki excused, Mr. Weber?
Yes,
Mayor Gubatosi.
Yes. 2025-184 authorizing a grant application to the New Jersey Economic Development Authority for up to $50,000 for pre-development planning to renovate the retired utility building at 54 Ocean Ave. And this is, as I understand it, a formality.
This is housekeeping, yeah, the previous administration didn't do this properly, so the grant's already been awarded. But it was never asked for or received, so in one resolution, you are asking for and receiving the grant from NJEDA.
Very good,
Thank you for that. Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we approve 2025-184.
Second,
Mr. Noble?
yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki excused, Mr. Weber?
yes,
Mayor Gubatosi.
Yes. Item 2025-185 is the bill list for May 6, 2025. Any questions or comments about the bill list?
My questions were already answered. Thank you very much. Okay.
All right, I will make a motion to approve 2025-185 bill list for May 6, 2025.
Second,
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
yes.
Mr. Nowicki? Excused.
Excuse.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. Item 12 on the agenda, announcements, there are none. Item 13A, administrative report, there is none. Is that correct, Mr. Brody?
Yes, the only thing I would love to say, Mr. Mayor, is, this coming Sunday is Mother's Day, so I'd like to wish all the moms and stepmoms and grandmoms and aunts and all the women who are moms in this life, in their lives, a very happy Mother's Day.
Thank you very much.
May I say something?
Please.
Thank you. So I've lost a very significant person in my life, April 23rd. The universe lost a very awesome woman, and I'm not just saying it because she's my mother. I'm saying it because she was an awesome human being. That being said, I would like to thank everyone that reached out to me, emailed me and sent me a card, called me for your condolences, and I would like to thank all of you because you showed up at my mother's service. It was unexpected, so thank you. Okay, I gotta put my crown on to remember whose daughter I am here. Just thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Okay. We will now continue with 13B, the mayor and council reports, and I'll mix it up a little and ask Councilwoman Greenblatt to start.
Okay. I'll start with my longest one, and I apologize. I'm the liaison to recreation. Recreation has a lot of activities going on, and I feel it's my responsibility to share the activities when they're relatively close in timeframe. So the rec, there has not been a rec meeting since our last council meeting. The glow in the dark Easter egg hunt held on April 19th was a big hit. Parents were very appreciative of this event for older kids. Father's Day kickball is scheduled for Friday, June 13th at 5 p.m. at the rec field. Signups are open now and will close on June 3rd. Please be sure to register as they need a head count for shirts and teams. There's no charge for that. Summer Camp 2025 registration is open for the wait list only, so the program is basically full. But anyone interested is encouraged to still sign up and get on the wait list as they hope to be able to get all of the kids in the camp program. And a reminder about ongoing events. Mahjong meets every Friday at the Biazzi Center from 1 to 3 p.m. Open Rec runs Thursdays until 6 p.m. and Fridays until 7 p.m. The Senior Club meets Wednesday, May 21st at noon at the Biazzi Center. They'll also be enjoying a luncheon at the Asbury Culinary School on May 15th. Last month, club members enjoyed musical guests and really loved it. So another one is scheduled for June, which is also the month they celebrate everyone's birthdays for the year. Morning pickleball has just completed its spring session as of today. Afternoon pickleball runs from May 13th to June 3rd with 2 time slots, 4 p.m. and 5 p.m. Space is still available. Spring bocce runs from May 6th to June 24th. Summer League registration opens on June 16th. Salted Yoga will host 5 sessions this month. Check the calendar on the recreation webpage for dates. That program is no charge. They will also be hosting a clothing swap May 18th at the rec center. The rec department teamed up with Salted Soul and the Environmental Commission to bring our 3rd annual clothing swap to town again. Yoga on the field from 9:30 to 10:30, weather permitting, and the swap from 10:30 to 12:30. There will be food, music, and crafts for kids. Bowling night is planned for Wednesday, May 28th, 6 to 8 p.m. at Bradley Bowl. It's $12 per person and includes shoes and a 2-hour bowl. Registration for that opens today. Please go to the rec homepage for details and to Community Pass for registration. The rec board's next meeting is Monday, May 12th, 6:30 p.m. at the rec center, and all are welcome. The Arts Council met Friday, April 25th. This was their first council-run meeting and an initial organizational opportunity to set its leadership. The new Arts Council will have 2 chairs and 2 co-chairs, one focusing on performing arts and the other on visual arts. June Julian will serve as chairperson for the visual arts, and Nate Riccio will head up performing arts. The Arts Council webpage will be updated shortly with announcements and activities. The Arts Council will hit the ground running with some planned events this spring. The Bradley Beach artists, the Bradley Beach artists present Summer Palette, an art exhibit at Posh Real Estate, June 7th through June 14th. An artist reception will be held on Saturday, June 7th from 4 to 6 p.m. There will be a book talk launch and signing event for Bradley Beach author Lori Krine's newly published Chasing Bruce Through the Backstreets and Beyond. This is Bruce Springsteen. At Posh, Wednesday, June 22nd from 5 to 7 p.m. Calling all beach artists, all Bradley Beach artists, Clean Ocean Action is hosting a gala benefit Saturday, June 14th from 5 to 9 p.m. at Windows on the Water in Seabright, where the Bradley Beach Arts Council has been invited to participate in a silent auction pop-up art exhibit. All artists are invited to participate. Proceeds of donated art will go back to the Clean Ocean Action and their work towards ocean conservation. The next Arts Council meeting is scheduled for Friday, May 16th at 2 p.m. on Zoom. And finally, the Fletcher Lake Commission has not met since our last council meeting. Commission members have purchased flowers for spring planting around the lake. A Fletcher Lake cleanup is planned for Saturday, June 7th from 10 a.m. to noon. This will be a joint effort of the communities of Bradley Beach and Ocean Grove in Neptune Township. Refreshments will be served. Many thanks again to the Bradley Beach DPW, who have graciously provided gloves and bags for this cleanup. This initiative is being organized by member William Grafton. The commission is looking ahead to partner with nearby communities with oceanfront lakes to promote recreational activities and appreciation of its natural resources. The Fletcher Lake Commission is creating a marketing brochure highlighting the history of Fletcher Lake, its amenities, and ways to join in supportive activities. Thanks to member Bill Grafton for spearheading this initiative. The plan is to have a coordinated effort between the Bradley Beach Lake Commissions and those of Asbury Park and Avon, working together with the historical societies and local governments. The next commission meeting is scheduled for this Thursday, May 8th at 6 p.m. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Let's go to Council President DeNoble.
Thank you. The Shade Tree has a meeting tomorrow, so I will cover that at our next meeting. Tourism has their next meeting in June. They're very busy setting up a lot of activities for the summer, so I'll report on that. And then next is the Bradley Beach Board of Ed had a meeting April 22nd. They had discussion items of sustainable Jersey recognition and grant. They also had district and board goals update, and they also had an Avid presentation. And the teachers did the presentation with wearing t-shirts that it's a great day to teach. And you could feel their love for teaching and their students. And it brings me to say that this month, May, is Teacher Appreciation Month. So when I think about teachers, I think about mentors, I think about guides, I think about sources of inspiration. So make sure you thank a teacher this month. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President. Councilman Weber.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So she just walked out, but the BBBCA and Paula, they had their first Brad Talks. It's like a TED Talk, but there's nobody named Ted involved, or Brad for that matter. But they had the initial one had Christine Quinn, who used to be the speaker of the New York City Council, who has had a place in town for a very long time. It was pretty good. It was a good event. I took a ride on the fire truck. You probably read that the fire company got a new fire truck and we all took a ride on it. Did you guys talk about that before? No, we all.
That was really fun.
It was a lot of fun. The firefighters decided we had to take a ride. Went around down on a fire truck. It's very entertaining. I appreciate that. So DPW, you actually already heard how hard they're working and all the stuff they're doing. Stuff at the beachfront. They're doing these handicap access to pick up and drop off areas. But I think last time I mentioned that we were having a problem with bulk trash. Bulk trash was costing the town a lot of money. And I was talking with Biagio and I said, you know, I wish there was a place, because a lot of times people put things out that they just don't want them anymore. They're perfectly good, usable things. If it's I don't know, whatever, a gas grill or people put out good, usable stuff sometimes. And if you're lucky, somebody takes it. And if you're not lucky, then you got to buy the stickers and it costs you and you put it and it goes into the bulk trash. But I said to Biagio, I said, what if there was a shed at the yard where people could bring like good usable stuff and the shed closes and locks and she got good usable stuff and people just drop by and like, oh yeah, that's good and usable, I need it, and I'm gonna take it, and it doesn't go to the landfill and whatever, so that was my idea. But I said, you know, to make it perfect, we would need somebody to be getting rid of the shed, so we could just get a used shed to do it. Biagio and his guys, they built a shed with buying next to nothing, no new materials. They had all this stuff lying around from other jobs, and they built a shed. And we're gonna have a shed, and I think we need a name for the shed, where like, your good usable stuff, you can just drop off, and it won't go into the landfill, and hopefully somebody else will take it. And if it sits in the shed for 5 months, we can throw it away, I don't care. But we're gonna try the landfill less, so that was just great, innovative, and I'll say frugal work on their part, it was good. And thanks for facilitating and helping out with that. Let's see, code department, I think a couple meetings, I don't know. Environmental Commission and from some other places I've heard, we were getting some complaints about people throwing a lot of garbage on the train track side of their properties. And code enforcement was on it. Some property owners got a notice of violation for that very thing, and they have a certain amount of time to clean up that trash. I don't know if that happened because I went away for a week, but if not, they're gonna go see the judge, so it's unlike, you know, same anywhere else in town, if you had like garbage all over your yard or side yard, you would probably get a notice of violation for that, so. Environmental Commission met last night, you already heard about the clothing swap, so that's another way we can keep stuff out of landfill, so I have a flyer for that clothing swap, if anybody wants to take a picture of the flyer or get the details off that if you need it. And, oh, that is happening on the same day as the townwide garage sale, just so it's that weekend, so it's a Sunday of that weekend. Environmental Commission is also continues to work on Sustainable Jersey to get certified, as a Sustainable Jersey tab for this year. Let's see, and then I think the only other thing I have is that you heard me talk about the 100-year-old birthday, correct? Correct, last meeting, two people that weren't here. We have a person in town that's turning 100 years old next week. This thing on the table there is the giant oversized and homemade by me birthday card that pretty much everybody that works for the town has signed, a bunch of other people have signed it. If you haven't signed it, please come up and sign it. I have 2 insert pages that went to the school. Every kid in the school that knows how to write their name they wrote on this card. It's gonna be like a multi-page birthday card, it's gonna be really cool. On the birthday itself, the days got switched a little bit since the last time I announced this, so let me be clear. On May 15th, this is the birthday itself, there's going to be a procession, fire trucks? Okay, fire truck and whatever other truck, this is Matt's deal. Just to go by this person's house on the 300 block of 3rd Avenue. And just to make a lot of noise and wave, and I think we'll stop the trucks and whatever, it will go into this person's front yard and sing them happy birthday. They thought all of this in one day was too much, so the following day, we will read a proclamation. We'll go back, some of us, I guess the mayor, we'll go back and we'll read the proclamation. While they're having a party just with their family, so please come out, there's a Facebook event, I don't have everybody's email, but I emailed a bunch of people. I'll post it again on the Bradley Beach community, just to get a head count, so we kind of know. I'm assuming you're doing traffic control, chief, to figure out where people are, okay, so if you wanna join the procession of vehicles behind the fire truck, you can do that. Go by this person's house and wave and then wish them, come and sing happy birthday, so that is the extent of my report, Mr. Mayor, thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman Wexler.
Oh, sorry, the time, thank you. On the day itself, 4 o'clock, that's the 15th, Thursday the 15th, 4 o'clock is the procession going by, I figure.
Where are we meeting?
Well, that, you know, I don't know where all these cars are lining up, that's why, where do you want that to happen? Well, TBD. If you wanna just walk by to the 300 block of 3rd Avenue and figure it out, but I follow the fire truck, how's that?
John, will you post something on Facebook?
Absolutely, yeah, I mean, we have a Facebook event just so people can, we'll get the details on there. That was the kind of thing I was letting Matt figure out, because he's really excited about getting the fire trucks going, so. That is the detail people will need, Matt.
All right, thank you, Councilman Weber. So our librarian, Ashley Foglia, gave me a list of things that would keep us here until about midnight. It's very impressive what the library does. I'm gonna point out 3 very specific things and then just quickly note a lot of other programs, but quickly. The 3 specific things I want to make sure everyone's aware of. One is, this is the fourth year now that the library is hosting One Beach, One Read. That is May 13th at 6 p.m. at the Bradley Beach Firehouse. So May 13th, 6 p.m., Bradley Beach Firehouse. Sandwiches will be provided. The Friends of the Library will hold a book sale on May 16th, 3 days later, at the lower level of the library, in the program room, and May 17th outside on Fourth Avenue by the Bookshed. So those are two things that happen almost every year like clockwork. Let's get out and support the library and the Friends of the Library. Also important to note that the library will be closed May 26th through June 2nd. They're replacing most of the carpeting in the library. And that's a big project because they gotta move bookshelves and they gotta move books before they move the bookshelves. So that's about a week-long project, but May 26th through June 2nd, library will be closed. Beyond that, I'm not gonna read these, but there is just an amazing list of photo contests. Basically what I'm gonna say is go to the library website and look for all the kid activities. But if you have kids, know people with young kids, photo contests, Lego club and board games, read and play, penny pincher party, the pet sets, and the list goes on. It's really amazing how much these guys take on in a given month. So I just want to make sure I covered that. We did have Mayor's Wellness Walk. It was my first walk as mayor. I'm proud to say I lapped the field. No, not quite, but I walked as briskly as I could. And we had a very nice walk. That was on April 27th. We're gonna have a number of walks following, one a month for the next 4 or 5 months. It's a nice, especially if it's a nice afternoon, nice weather, a chance for me to chat with a lot of the residents. This was up and down Main Street, so we got a chance to stop at the movie theater and some other things, and I gave folks whatever updates I could at the time. But, I encourage everyone to keep an eye on the calendar, and when we announce Mayor's Wellness Walks as we go forward, we'll have different experts join subsequent walks, experts in different areas of health, self-defense, and so forth. So it should be an interesting time, and I'm very anxious to meet and chat with other residents who might want to join us. On May 28th, Mr. Doherty, do we have the business town hall?
Yes.
And is it 4 p.m., 5 p.m.? Can't recall.
So they're 4 or 5, but it is at the firehouse. We have a lockdown. So
Okay, cool. So a little more to come on this. We've announced it with Ms. Gavin, BBBC is aware of this. But we are going to hold possibly the first ever, at least I'm aware of a businesses town hall. So we wanted the businesses to have a voice, and Paula Gavin kind of planted the seed with me. And Mr. Doherty is making it a reality. We're gonna invite the businesses in town to come and speak with the mayor. Could probably have one other council member join me, Mr. Doherty can join.
4 p.m.
I'm sorry?
It is 4 p.m.
Oh, 4 p.m. 4 p.m. on May 28th. But the idea is to get businesses to give us feedback, tell us what we can do to improve the borough for the businesses. And I'll probably invite one other council person to join me along with Mr. Doherty if you can. But whoever can come will have access to at least a handful of us to just gather feedback and do some planning, hopefully to improve opportunities for our businesses. I want to talk a little bit about the fire company because they have been very busy over the past few weeks. As council member Weber mentioned, we bought a new fire truck. We did get rides around town. Council President DeNoble kept giving people the thumbs up and people kept waving. New truck, so it was fun. But most importantly, the fire department, they regularly raise money. We've been to the fish fries. They've collected money in various occasions. They have built them enough savings that they actually came to me as mayor and said, Mayor, we want to buy a new truck, $75,000. And I was waiting for them to say, can you help us budget wise? And they did not say that. Instead, they said, we're going to pay for it out of the funds that we've built up over the past few years. So the fire company, with their own funding, they did not ask for a taxpayer dollar, purchased a $75,000 truck from Broughton, Pennsylvania. Now that's important to know because they had to drive out just outside of Pittsburgh to get to Broughton, Pennsylvania. 6 or so hour drive each way. And as they went out there, or actually as they were coming back, they had the new truck. It had no water in it, you know, they're traveling light, no water. A car in front of them on the highway in Pennsylvania caught fire. And we put this in the newsletter, but anyone who didn't read the newsletter, it's a fascinating story. Because here at Bradley Beach Fire Company, 4 members of our company that went out to get this truck, following a car innocently on the road ahead of them. The car starts smoking, the car pulls over, the fire truck troop, and not only the fire truck, but the chief's car, they were in 2 cars now. They all pull over to just check out the vehicle. As they get out of the truck and the chief's car, the smoke turns to flames. And the woman driver is sitting in the car. She's not getting out, probably a bit frozen, a bit terrified. Chief Minsky gets out with a fire extinguisher, pulls the woman out of the car, says, "Get out of the car quick." She gets out, he gets under the car and he puts out the fire. So our Bradley Beach Fire Department put out a fire out in the Boone area of Pennsylvania, just outside of Pittsburgh. And we got all kinds of credit from the local fire and first aid when they arrived. And by the way, it took them about 20 minutes to arrive because they were in the boonies. So we know we get credit for the fire company get credit for saving the car, but they possibly at least saved this woman's life. So it's a fascinating story and I want to make sure I shared it. A little bit closer to home, the fire company and EMS and our police rescued my wife from carbon monoxide poisoning. Potentially, she was being poisoned. We had a carbon monoxide leak at our house. And I had been out for most of the morning, so my wife was feeling the effects of it more. She was getting a headache and neck ache and thought she had meningitis or something. I came in a little later in the day, sat down with her, and the 2 of us are watching TV, and she's complaining about her pain. I wasn't feeling any symptoms yet. And our alarm goes off in the house, carbon monoxide poisoning. I'm like, that can't be right. Well, sure enough, our basement registered, I don't know, a normal level is somewhere between 0 and 10. Our basement registered 500. So that's not good. And in fact, my wife was suffering from, early signs of poisoning. Our EMS gave her pure oxygen for 40 minutes. And within a couple days, she was feeling fine again. But their response time was incredible. It was within 5 minutes of getting that alarm, they were at our house. And then closing the fire company on a very good note, beyond saving lives, which is a great note. They also hosted a couple weeks back, I didn't write down the date, but an Easter egg hunt. And that was a huge success. They had a couple hundred kids join. They spread it all out, all the hidden eggs in the sand on the beach. And the kids had a great time. The parents had a great time. I got a chance to just go down and cheer them all on, but it was a lot of fun. So many thanks to the fire department for all the work they did over the past few weeks. And with that said, that concludes, oh yes, Mr. Weber.
Councilman Nowicki sent me his reports and I forgot to read them.
No way.
May I?
Yes,
I'm so sorry.
yes, you may, please do. I've concluded my report. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, and apologies to Councilman Nowicki. So for the first aid report, for the operational period ending today, the squad responded to 24 day calls and 9 night calls for 33 calls. 26 were for medical, 6 were for fire, and 1 was for a motor vehicle accident. The squad provided medical overwatch and help with setting up the Easter egg hunt, and the squad requested no mutual aid for this operational period. They fulfilled 100% of their assignments. And of course, they're still looking for volunteers. They offer free training for qualified individuals. Anyone wishing to volunteer can find applications on the borough's website. And they have applications also for their cadet program for people 16 to 18 years of age. And now on to the police report. There are dates on this one. April 14th, 2025, Newark Avenue. Maria Murday, 60, of Bradley Beach, New Jersey, was arrested and charged with possession of heroin, possession of cocaine, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Patrolman Anthony Baldiamenti and Patrolman Edwin Hernandez made the arrest. And on May 1st, on Main Street, Sergeant Major observed a dispute in front of Darcy's Tavern. Upon investigation, Sergeant Major identified Jihad Junero, 37, of Neptune, New Jersey, acting disorderly and causing a disturbance on the roadway. Mr. Panero was placed under arrest for disorderly conduct. The search of Mr. Panero's personal the search of his person before the arrest revealed him to be in possession of cocaine and a knife, and as a result, Mr. Panero was charged with disorderly conduct, possession of cocaine, possession of controlled dangerous substance with intent to distribute, and unlawful possession of a weapon. He was later transported to Monmouth County Correctional Institute. Patrolman Edwin Hernandez and Patrolman Sean Johnson assisted with the arrest. An officer from our K-9 unit was deployed to Neptune Township to assist in the tracking of a wanted subject that fled during a motor vehicle stop. And Bradley Beach Police Department also arrested 2 individuals on outstanding active contempt of court warrants and investigated 8 motor vehicle accidents between April 15th and May 4th. And that's only a 1-pager. So that is the police report. Courtesy of the police department and Councilman Nowicki, thank you very much. Sorry about that.
That concludes it. Okay, thank you. With that said, we can conclude item 13B, Mayor and Council reports, move to 14, public comments or questions. These are now questions that apply to anything in the world. And let me start with Ms. Bartlett.
Oh, thank you. I apologize.
Thank you for waiting.
312 Main Street, I apologize for before. And although I do love to speak to Mr. Doherty, I want it to be public, so. Last month, I was here, I know you all heard me, so my question is, we're now into the 4th month, and what is going on?
So if you recall, Darcy's was issued a violation back in February. They had a court hearing in the beginning of April that was adjourned.
Correct.
Until tomorrow, actually May 7th. Then the court hearing. They have not applied for any variances yet with the land use board. They were issued another notice of violation today. They'll be receiving for enclosing a 2nd floor deck on their property. That was issued by Ted Biaki, our zoning officer. So that's sort of where we are with them at this point.
Okay, so the cooperation isn't there, obviously. All right, I just have to say one note, because you know it's all about parking with me. And it should be with the whole town. And we did an order for the Bradley Beach Police Department. And they came Monday to pick it up. So they call me, I'm not gonna mention who it was, but he calls, he says, is the order ready? Yeah, it's ready, come on over, pick it up. Next thing, the phone rings, Luann. There's no parking out front, can I pull the car in the back and could somebody open the back door for me and run it out? And I said, sure I can. So again, that's where we're at. There's 18 parking spaces. It's supposed to be, it's zoned as a parking lot. And I just don't understand why all that stuff is still there. I don't know. Nobody wants to help me. Okay. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. It could possibly be adjourned again tomorrow though, right?
It could be adjourned again tomorrow.
Yeah, and then we're into another month. Like, how long would that go on, Matt? Like, how long could they adjourn it? Could their attorney adjourn this?
That's up to the judge to make
I
that
mean,
decision.
you know, they own property too, right? So we're kind of caught in the middle here. Our process is give you your right to have your say, and probably the other property owner have the right to have, I take it you're a neighbor, yeah?
I'm right
Okay.
next door.
Yeah, I mean, these processes protect the full property, right? You'll have your.
Sure,
you'll have
like
your time.
January 14th is when the first thing notification was issued. We're now 4 months into it and nothing's been done. And I've been told by people, they're just stalling. They're just stalling. They're just gonna break everybody's butts. Okay, is that right? That's fair. That's real fair to all of the people in Bradley Beach, everybody in Bradley Beach. Sticking it to us. Okay, so I guess I have to wait, but I wanted it on record that this is what I'm hearing and enough is enough. How much longer? It's zoned for a parking lot. They were already approved for their outdoor dining upstairs back in 2012, which I was for. I'm for business, but not when you have a structures and not even a tent. The skeleton of a tent sitting for 12 months out of the year. All right, I have my say. I'm sorry. Thank you all.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Yes, Ms. Kepler.
Beth Kepler, 504 Central Avenue. I'm all about transparency. And I'm just wondering, and in the interest of fairness and equity, why the issue with the parking that's being discussed wasn't an issue, because COVID and these things were implemented back in 2021. And now we're 5 years into it, and we're only addressing the last 4 months, which has been since you've been here as mayor. And prior to that, during the prior administration, when Larry Fox was here and the chief of police was Leonard Guida, who happens to be, in the interest of full disclosure, Luann Bartlett's brother, why that wasn't raised before.
Well, and just to make sure you're fully informed. A lot of this ties back to COVID and, Greg, you could probably explain better, but the governor basically.
The state has continuously extended for the last, up through this year now, through November of 2025. Continuously extended the premises expansion permits.
When
So-
did that change?
Changed during COVID, that you could move your operations outdoors. At first, it was an
Okay.
emergency issue. They just passed, it was December, they passed the law. They still haven't issued the guidance. They have 24 more days, apparently. I don't know how they're gonna do that, because they haven't published it. You're supposed to publish that for 60 days. So the rules on what DRCs is actually allowed to have haven't been written yet by the state under the ABC, which largely guides what we do here for zoning. And they were legally out there because they applied for the temporary permit. They have dispensation from the ABC. And until very recently, they was legal out there. And then now it's technically the emergency is passed, but they still haven't issued the guidance as to what they're allowed to do with that newly licensed and expanded premises. So you can go on the ABC website. I check every single day since January 14th, frankly, when Matt and I, all this started under this current administration, but they haven't issued the guidance. So I don't know what to tell you at this point. You know, the town is using.
My
Yeah.
point is not, my point is that it's only become an issue for this particular business, the Arnie Navy store, where there's been, multiple times where this has been raised. And it wasn't raised prior to Mayor Hubatosi. I don't remember ever once seeing Luann Bartlett approaching on behalf of all of the businesses in that area and raising an issue of parking, and her brother was the chief of police. And during his tenure and Mayor Fox, their tenure, it was never an issue, but now it is an issue. And so I'm just making that point and making it clear, because a lot of people don't understand the familial relationship between Ms. Bartlett and Chief of Police Leonard Weed.
But Ms.
I'm
Kepler,
not asking for you to weigh in, I'm just stating it on the record, because a lot of people don't understand that.
in fairness, we heard from Miss Bartlett and that business a long time before they came to this room last month or whenever it was, like, we heard from her.
I don't remember it. And
But
a
no,
lot
I'm
of
saying we
people
heard,
on
like,
social,
people-
maybe you have,
People, right, they
the
write,
council
the
maybe.
council,
that's
they
right.
email the council.
But I'm saying, I just see a lot of harassment coming in about, what's going on this month. And I just don't remember that being an issue. I don't remember Mayor Fox being badgered month after month about what was the status and why wasn't that being addressed.
Again,
during his tenure.
The state law has changed. I mean, like,
there's
like Greg said, so it only was this year where, they're
People have
finally
complaining
saying,
about that for 5 years. I mean, it's not something that I've heard recently. In fact, I've had to look this up several times over the years as to what the current status of the premises expansion permit law is. The permanent solution.
So it's in limbo at this point.
So they have passed a statute as part of the municipal land use law that attempts to govern this. But the guidance from the ABC as to how you're allowed to set up that premises is not, they have until, May 30th under the law that was passed November 30th of last year, 6 months. So in large part, we don't have answers because we're not, the ABC tells the bar what to do fundamentally.
And
We
I
have
think that's
local
very
home
important
rule.
what you're saying, and that you're putting that out there and explaining that, because a lot of it is not up to this council and is not up to this legislative.
I have to be honest with you, in large part, I think the law that they recently passed, I think it violates the home rule provisions of the Constitution. That's not an issue here for today, but fundamentally, the state has taken this issue out of the locality's hands in large part, which is why we didn't really have any recourse for a number of years. And now we're not sure what the recourse is, frankly. Sitting here right now, I can tell you that I've spent 12 hours this week researching, discussing with the land use board attorney, the professionals here, exactly how you administer this, because there is no guidance at present that's published.
And I thank you for that, and I think that was a very important point to be.
Yeah, what we're trying to do, as you heard Lisa, is fundamentally, it's not really up, this is a decision or be arbiter between the neighbors and the establishment
So
or property
it's up to the
owners.
judge and the courts at this
In for those zoning violations, municipal court, yes. If there's a land use application we don't know which direction it's gonna go because it's not even clear really to the applicant what they're supposed to do at this point, to be honest with you.
And I appreciate that, that's a very important point to have been brought out.
Okay.
Because.
I'm not sure that's in the plan.
Well, I can, it's an objective opinion, and it's a factual thing, and that it's not the fault of this legislative body, and it's out of this legislative body's hands at this point. So I just want that to be clear.
Yeah, no, thank you for your comments. I would just add, I don't think it's been a bit of a perfect storm. I don't think it has anything to do with familial relationships. This is just me on record. It's been a bit of a perfect storm because as Greg just pointed out, for 4 years, we've all had our hands tied and been hamstrung. But there was also, Greg, the bill passed by and signed into law at the end of last year by the governor, which basically said, it sounded like the headline said, outdoor dining, it's okay now. And I think that happened in October with very little guidance behind that. Those who wanted outdoor dining said, woohoo, we've got it. Those who didn't said, what the heck's going on? And what we're now finding is folks who, as Ms. Bartlett pointed out, who are concerned about outdoor dining occupying parking spaces, they are now coming forward and saying, hey, time out. Before you permanently approve this, make sure you listen to our side of the story. Meanwhile, the folks who are lobbying for outdoor dining are pointing to the legislation saying, no, we have this right. We, as Mr. Kennis said moments ago, we as a legislative body and as an administrative entity, we're kind of stuck in the middle. The two sides are debating.
And that's what I wanted to be brought out.
And what we are doing, and Ms. Bartlett, I just wanted to address your comment. We are doing what we can within our authority. So we are providing notices of non-compliance with our zoning. We haven't gotten to the point of sending in the police to tear down tents and what have you. We're trying to work with both parties, but we are hearing your concerns loud and clear.
Okay, and I just have one more.
Please.
comment. I'm sorry. To respond to Ms. Kepler, I did call Mayor
need to
Fox.
address the-
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I did call Mayor Fox, and he came into my business with my husband in 2022. And I said to him, what's the deal with the tent? How long is it supposed to stay up? And his answer to me was, it's up to the governor. I went, okay, it's up to the governor. I heard the whole
At that
thing.
time, that was definitely.
Correct, correct. And then in September, I emailed Jane, I emailed John, I emailed Mayor. You weren't the mayor at the time. I emailed Mayor Fox. I emailed everybody. I said, what's the deal? And everybody, I think Erica responded to me too, because I said, when's it coming down? And they said November 30th. That's it. It's coming down. So, it had nothing to do with my brother, okay? I've been there for 43 years. And my husband and I, Murray's has been there in that location since 1972, okay? You never heard a peep out of me. No one's ever, I don't complain about anything. But this is like overkill, like when? And again, I'm going on the record and stating, I don't have a problem with the tent or the outdoor dining or the music or anything. What I have the problem with is it's a parking lot. No one in Monmouth County uses, no restaurant, and I've done my research, if you all wanna do your research, there is not one restaurant in Monmouth County that uses their entire parking lot for outdoor dining.
It's probably, I'm ready for Madam, I think it's the
Yes.
first time I've ever spoken.
Yes,
So like I said, my concern is processing this paperwork, I think. I just wanted to, you came in and you talked about prior approvals and all that sort of stuff.
correct.
I just want to tell you that the statute that I'm talking about talks about using a parking lot for this purpose up to 75%
Up
of
to
it.
75%,
Correct.
that they're using the entire.
Okay, so you're aware of that, right?
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
the law has changed since this has all gone along. It's part of the
Absolutely.
confusion. People assume it's
And
before.
there's also the problem of the handicap parking space that's there for the business, that's not being used. I think it's called the,
That's required in the statute now too, that 75% and including at least one
So-
ADA space.
so that's what I'm
I
saying.
just don't want to,
That's what I'm
I just wanted to just be, I'm glad that you're aware of that change in the law.
Oh,
But here's the conundrum, right?
yeah,
So let's say that, first of all, it's not clear it's a zoning regulation or otherwise, right? But they still have to be approved by the ABC. So whatever the premise is, whether it's 75%, 50%, whatever it is, you still have to say where you're putting the bar, where you're putting the table, where you're putting the chairs. And they haven't written any guidance on that for the next 3 weeks. So that's the difficulty that our professionals and the people that work here face is, you can come in with ideas, with this, that, the other thing. However, it's not clear that the ABC is gonna say okay to any of this either. And so we're basically using our municipal levers, the zoning and the things that are within our control
I
to
know
do what we can do, but there's all this other stuff that's going on outside of our control. So I don't wanna be overpromise or what have you. I'm glad that you're aware of that.
no,
rule,
I'm totally.
Cause that may be the best we can do. to be
And
honest with
honestly,
you.
I'm at the point where we were all good neighbors. Now, people give me the finger, people are calling me names. This is
Yeah.
terrible.
The last,
It's
I mean,
terrible.
this has been going on for years, but the last 3 months have definitely, no
Yeah,
one's
it's
angry at me, but
terrible.
I can see the anger.
Absolutely, I'm gonna be the bad guy? Okay, you want me to be the bad guy? I'll be the bad guy. It's ridiculous. And all I'm saying is, why the whole parking lot? I just don't understand why the entire parking lot is being used.
I understand. I'm gonna respectfully tell them not to comment on that, because at some point that might be a question here or the land use board or otherwise, but your
Maybe
point.
Dorsey's getting too big for Bradley Beach.
Your-
Maybe they have to find another place, move somewhere else. I don't know what the answer is, but, the parking is crazy. And that's the deal. They were approved for upstairs by they got a variance, build upstairs, they're outdoor
That's
dining.
part of my 12-hour.
And their approval was to have 18 parking spaces and a handicap parking, so that's what I'm going on.
So Greg, we probably should move on, but.
Yeah,
Okay.
look, just know
We hear you.
that we
Well, I
hear
just wanted
you,
to
we hear,
that
we hear
It had nothing
everything.
to do, I did reach out
We
to Mayor Fox and.
We just wanna make sure that the process that's run gives you your due process, gives the
Yeah.
owner, and I now, sitting here at this moment, I'm not entirely sure what that is, given
Right.
without the guidance, so
Gotcha, thank you.
that's where
all.
we're at.
I appreciate it, I do.
Ms. McGuire.
What's it?
Brigitte McGuire, 610 Brindley Ave. I'm glad I'm not the only one with something negative to talk about tonight. I understand we are all celebrating this new administration and how lovely it is to move forward. And we don't wanna talk about shaky things sometimes, but I am for transparency and I do feel like something got through the papers 2 weeks ago, and I just feel the need to talk about it on public record. So I wrote something up here. The CFO, Mr. Barrett. In the article about 2 weeks ago in the Coast Star regarding his resignation, it mentions Barrett's resignation from the position was delivered through an email at 12:01 a.m. on April 17th, which copied over 15 borough employees and cited a disagreement with Gubitosi over retro pay calculations from a recently settled union contract as reasoning for his premature departure. The email included attachments of
salaries, payroll, and importantly, retro pay for employees. So I'm assuming these payroll numbers are public, however, I'd imagine it's super unprofessional to have attached these payroll amounts to a list of employees in an email. That's what happened? Okay. The article also stated that Barrett viewed Gubitosi's calculations of employee retro pay as erroneous, stating the mayor's decision to move forward with paying borough employees based on those calculations is not acceptable to me and my team. I'm not even gonna question who his team was, because I have no idea who his team was. Like, is there a team or do we just hire a CFO? But I don't wanna run out of time just yet. I am, let me just make sure, okay. I am glad that our new CFO, Jeanette Larison, was able to double check those numbers and confirm that your numbers were correct, Mr. Mayor. But you must know, this leads me to questioning everything Mr. Barrett went over from the past. Because while Mr. Barrett stood up here telling us not to look in the rearview mirror, telling me directly he won't litigate what happened within the former administration when I asked about receipts, and also boasting that our former CFO, Mr. Gartz, was his good friend and did a good job. I'd like to remind everyone for the record that Mr. Gartz, our former CFO, told me 3 times via our clerk, Erica, because he never spoke to me directly, that there were no responsive records as to where our COVID money was deposited or where it was spent, and never made himself accessible to anyone but Larry Fox and friends. So with Mr. Barrett discussing Mayor Gubitosi's numbers being incorrect and stating to the CoStar that Mayor Gubitosi has too much pride to admit he was wrong, really shows the unprofessionalism and nonsense that sounds so very familiar to our former administration. It seems to me that John Barrett may have been quite a setup by the former administration as to protect a lot of the financial issues we have been asking about for the past several years. A cleanup, if you will. The article in the CoStar also stated that Mr. Barrett sent the budget to the DCA. I understand that this is the process, but I would like to highlight that the DCA was terrible to our community over the past few years. They aligned with Larry Fox's behavior and ignored many residents. They also fined the council and never fined our mayor. I really question his motives here. Having done some research on John Barrett as CFO, I can say I found some negative news about him working in Hamilton Township and Jackson. He has recently sued a mayor of another town stating harassment and retaliation. Sound familiar? His behavior with those emails and trying to say Mayor Gubitosi was wrong lends to the appearance that he was getting ready to follow a very similar playbook we all have seen in at least the last 2 administrations. So thanks for staying on top of those numbers, Mayor Gubitosi. I do have a few questions. Will Ms. Larison do a review of everything in the past as well, even though Mr. Barrett had already done that? And although I know you guys were impressed with all of that, I have a lot of questions and I don't trust. I just don't trust. So will she be reviewing past stuff? And is she also reworking the budget and resubmitting that, or are we working off of what he did submit?
It's probably a little bit of both. I mean, a lot of the budget itself was developed by myself and others, so, department heads and so forth. So some of that, she'll accept because we approved it. On the other hand, there are other questions around, entries made or not made, more accounting oriented that she is revisiting to make sure she's comfortable with the budget. So, and that's why she's reserving May 20th to open it up to questions, because she wants to have another couple of weeks to make sure she's comfortable with all transactions that are taking place. And I'll expand that. Not only Ms. Larison is looking at it to make sure everything's copacetic, but she's brought with her, we've hired someone she highly recommended to take the place of the QPA. And he's asking a lot of really good questions, and not just about first 4 months of my administration, but prior administrations as well, just to make sure they both feel our accounting is clean and well done.
That's interesting. So as a QPA, I'm assuming it's a he would look into purchasing, he would look into like what was purchased in the
They're
past
not
and
co-
like how money was spent.
Don't get me wrong, they're not conducting an audit. They're not
I
looking at.
know, I
No.
need one.
No, but they are making sure transactions are put in the right buckets, and if there's anything unusual looking, they are certainly flagging it and asking us about it. It's more a question of, is that a capital expenditure, or should it have been coded that way versus this way? They're not looking for fraud or anything more substantial, but right now, as I understand it, it's early in the process, but Ms. Larison so far seems comfortable with our data, but she's got a few more weeks to look at it.
Okay, and as far as Mr. Oliva's audit, are we getting that soon?
I don't have timing from him yet, but my hope is normally it'd be due in end of June. The state apparently has already extended that deadline to August.
Right.
We're gonna ask Mr. Oliver to work as hard as he can and make sure we're getting him all the data he needs, so hopefully he can deliver it before the end of August.
Now, will he get, he's working off of data that Mr. Barrett gave to him, correct?
Some of it, a lot of it's Mr. Garscape then.
Is there any way to have Miss Laris? I know it's budget season and I know there's so much, but I just don't trust that now. And if he's just gonna work off of numbers that came from people we didn't trust or didn't even treat us with respect,
We,
having
you know,
a
we,
really
we,
hard time with it.
I appreciate your caution, but you know, we have accounting records, we have documentation. They're getting comfortable with the data we have, but no one has said anything to me about needing to recreate it from scratch. It's more like just making sure it passes the sniff test and it's in the right buckets and we're moving forward.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? Yes, sir.
Paul Champion, 411.5 Lorraine. I wanted to mention the auction of 319 Lorraine. I thought there'd be some report on that from the council. I hope it went well for the borough. I want to thank the borough for donating some of the historic items that were requested by the Historical Society to us. And I appreciate it. For those of you who don't know, we requested 2 small stained glass windows and 2 major stained glass windows. And we are getting all those out. Although it's costing us quite a bit of money. We have to get professional stained glass removal company to come in, remove them, crate them. And in fact, the 2 large ones are going to temporary storage in Long Branch at their historic museum, Church of the Presidents. They are another group that received quite a few of the objects, including a lot of the remaining stained glass. The company that I'm hiring is costing us $7,000 to remove the windows. I have the Long Branch Historic Museum is going to share the cost at least 50%. The remainder will be coming from the Bradley Beach Historical Society. And I am looking for donations from the public and also possibly from the borough. I will start it off by pledging at least $1,000 towards that remaining $3,500. As you might imagine, this is an amount that our small historic society needs help on. The 2 smaller windows, one of them is going to be displayed as soon as we can. Our back room is almost in the state where we can reinsert the existing Methodist church display that we have and add the stained glass window, small stained glass window. And it will, I hope, to some extent, mitigate the loss of our grandest and most historic building, which we await the demolition on. I hope it will not be before we get the stained glass out. And I assume that you'll give us the time. We're scheduled for the week of May 13th, May 12th, I believe, And I'm trying to get them in as early as possible that week.
At this point, I believe we've been asking the engineer, about the potential to delay the demolition process, just to allow people like yourselves to remove some of the more difficult artifacts. There's also beautiful large wooden doors that have to get removed, and there's a lot of work behind it.
There are a lot of elements that were not in the auction roll that I hope you're gonna at least get some interested salvage companies to possibly come in. The main supports for the sanctuary itself those columns are actually really quite something. Somebody should get those.
And we'll certainly see what we can do. There are a lot of items not even sold that were advertised for sale that didn't sell,
Yeah.
not to mention others that weren't advertised.
As
And
I
I know-
mentioned to some of you, I do hope to talk the demolition company into trying to get the bell down without destroying it. And as I mentioned to some of you, I've discussed with Principal Heidelberg, possibly placing that bell on the school grounds. He was very interested in that opportunity. The bell was, as I mentioned, in the last council meeting, was donated to the church in 1900 by the children, Bradley Beach, who raised the money for it. And also the Cornerstone. There are some elements that we would like to talk to the demolition company on, so I hope that we can make arrangements through your office.
Let's do that, and we should do that quickly.
Thank you for your time, and hopefully somebody will come through and be an angel for us and try to, get these windows out. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Yes, sir. Mr. West.
West, 18, okay, one quick question, Mr. Weber. Yes. Your new shed, which I think is a good idea, that you're gonna recover stuff, unused stuff, so it doesn't go landfill. I'm very pro recycle and reuse and all that stuff. The concern is, I assume this is gonna be on the north end DPW lot, right?
That's what, yes, that's what I was gonna say.
I know it always, it's gonna happen. Just my concern is this is not gonna turn into a junkyard of people getting stuff and Fred, who's up there now monitoring it, is he now gonna be in charge of it? That's good, that's junk, this is, who's gonna decide? I mean, this barbecue grill kind of works, so somebody might be able to use it, but so we're gonna end up with a mountain of junk.
Sure, that's why it's a shed, and if it doesn't fit in 8 feet by 12 feet, it's not going in there, and like I said, and this is the stuff you gotta work out. Figure out how many, it's been here X, whatever, there's a time limit, and after that, if it hasn't, nobody's taking it, then it turns into garbage. And then people are just gonna have to accept that, but yeah, we have to.
Yeah, because it's a good way, I don't wanna pay for a sticker to get rid of this barbecue grill, so I'm gonna say it works. Here, take it. And then
I would be happy if Fred would be the determiner of what is usable.
He does a good job.
Because he does a
He's
good
a
job.
great guy, yeah, he does.
By the way, they'll still pay for the sticker.
Oh, yeah,
It's not free.
yeah, yeah, thanks.
Any other comments or questions? Anyone on Zoom?
No.
Seeing no further questions, I will, and there is no executive session tonight. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, ladies and
Great
gentlemen.
job.